Surprise! We're back! It's Mythos Mondays again. Oh, it's been so long. Oh, I'm so excited. I am so happy to be back. Oh, it's so nice. I've missed Mythos Mondays so much, and I'm very excited to be reading through Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon. Read me a story, Mr. Streamerman. I sure will. Hello. I see you have separated gamer and girl. It was once gamer girl, and now it is gamer and girl. Whoa. Godzilla, catfish, blob, gamer, girl, dog, cat, slime. How could I be two of those things at once, let alone all of them? You know, rise up. Gamers rise up. The most oppressed class of all. Gamers. I gotta adjust my camera. There we go. Should be a little... Hold on. Yeah, it should probably be a little better. Okay. Slight tweaks every stream. Anyway, yeah, welcome back. For those of you who have never experienced Mythos Mondays before, she told me a week or two ago about this, but you had to keep it a secret. Actually, thinking today about looking up when Tsukihime comes out. In fact, it came out this past Thursday is when it came out. I was very excited. I was very glad that it came out on a Thursday, because that would give me time to get it in if I wasn't able to pick it up at a store, which I was not able to. So I had to get it on delivery, which is good, because it gave me the weekend to get it in and just make sure that I had everything ready to go. And here we are. We're ready to go. It's very exciting. Very exciting. A physical copy, of course. Got the special edition. Comes with like an art book. But the art, it says on the art book, this contains spoilers. Don't read until you finish the game. But yeah, I tend to prefer physical media in general, but especially with games. I just like having stuff on my shelf, you know. It's nice. It's like a hobbyist type of thing. Me with my 35 Switch games. I don't have that many. I have maybe a dozen. I do have a lot of old PS4 games, a couple of PS3 games, I think. A handful of GameCube games, if you can believe it. Oh yeah, I think I do still have more digital than physical overall. Not to mention all the PC games I have, but this baby has so many Switch games on it. Lament. But yes, where was I? For those of you who maybe have not seen me until relatively recently, yes, Mythos Mondays is a thing that we used to do every Monday. We would read either a visual novel or from a book on mythology, one of many that I have. We'd read some excerpts from stuff like that. Monday is for reading. Monday's for stories. Monday's for storytelling and mythology, because that's my passion, that's my drive, that's what got me into doing this stuff in the first place, was to share stories. And Tsukihime is one of the stories I have yet to experience for myself. It is a follow-up slash sequel slash sort of something related to Witch on the Holy Night, which was our first foray into Mythos Mondays back at the beginning of this year. I think our first episode of Mythos Mondays was in like December of 2023, or if not, the first Monday of January. Help brainstorming on my story revival game. Fun. Gotta do that. For sure, for sure. Yeah, I've been kind of trying to rekindle that storytelling fire in me. I haven't written much for a long time. I'm trying to put my brand back together, put my brain back together. Really remember what the point is here, and that's to share stories, to talk about mythology in games. Which, while I'm on that topic, you can follow me on TikTok, and I've also posted a couple of videos on Twitter. I've started creating video content on mythology in games. The first two videos are about Okami, which we played earlier this year, and some of the real-world myths that inspired parts of the stories in Okami, parts of the levels, parts of the characters, the encounters that you have in the game. I plan to continue doing this with other games that we play through on the channel, and I hope that you guys are excited for some of that. Also on Twitter, I posted a schedule for this week. I know we haven't had a schedule in a very long time, because we've been on the Elden Ring grind for what seems like an eternity. But Elden Ring is on the schedule. Tomorrow is reserved for that Fate Grand Order Servants tier list. I found one that has every servant in Fate Grand Order. Every one of them. Like, up to the ones that were announced like a fucking week ago in the JP version, that I actually don't even know who they are. But yeah, we're gonna spend some time tomorrow doing that. We'll see how far we get. I frankly don't know if I plan on doing every single servant, or if maybe we just kind of cherry pick the ones that I know at least a little bit. We'll see. It'll kind of depend on exactly how long it takes. Wednesday. What are we doing Wednesday? Wednesday we're playing Nikke. Wednesday, the summer event for Nikke, Goddess of Victory Nikke, drops at 6 p.m. my time. So we're going to be playing it because there's some really cool stuff going on, and oh my god, I need to gamble. I need to go gambling. Let's go gambling. Were you hearing them by Power Design? It's gonna be very subjective. It's gonna be just kind of my opinion on them, which is gonna be kind of design, kind of their real world counterpart, mythology. Spoilers, characters that I talk about regularly on stream, like Gilgamesh or Cuchulainn or the Count of Monte Cristo, are probably going to be ranked higher just because I've looked into their stories specifically because I like them. So, and Fate did not play a small part in that. So it's gonna be kind of a what I subjectively think of them. Ishtar, don't get me started on Ishtar, bro. Fun fact about that, I mentioned that the creator of the tier list had included like even the most recent announced servants. In the JP version a month or so ago, the characters from Witch on the Holy Night were added as servants, including Aoko, Sojiro, and Alice. So they will be on the tier list too, which is super cool. Because you guys know that we know those characters because you were here for that. Right? You were here for that, right? You were here for that, right? Anyway. yeah, so that's very exciting. Wednesdays for Nikkei. Nikkei, I'd like to play more Nikkei on stream, I think, because Nikkei does actually have a really engaging and gripping storyline that I ignore because, well, I don't ignore it, but I haven't played it on stream just because I'm, like, not caught up with the story, but fuck it, because it's cool. And we can play the events and stuff. The ass game, yes. Turns out that the ass game has a lot of plot. Go figure. Thursday, we're going a little retro. But when I say a little retro, I mean we're playing the PlayStation 5 release of Sly Cooper, the first one. The game I have never played in my life, because by the time it came out, we were a Nintendo household because I had too many brothers and the GameCube had 4 controller slots, so there we go. I have never played Sly Cooper before, and I'm very, very excited. As soon as I heard that it was coming out on PS5, I was like, I'm nabbing that, we're playing it on stream. I'm super excited. And then Friday this week, we're going to be jumping back into Elden Ring. We're going to try and grind out the final boss, maybe do a couple of other bosses and side quests that I missed in the DLC, and if we have some time, head back into the main game and see how much of that we can wrap up. Still got to beat Malekith, Godfrey, and Radagon. But until then, we've got some reading to do. Let me get my Switch set up here. I specifically got the Switch version of the game. Tsukihime comes out is out on Switch and PS4. Did you beat Radahn? You mean? I mean, we beat Radahn. We did not beat the final boss of the DLC. No spoilers. we did not beat the final boss of the DLC. No. Let me swap over here. We're gonna be on the right side of the screen for now, because I don't know what the HUD is gonna look like. Please let me know about volume levels. I'm using my capture card, so I don't know.
目が覚めた。暗い夜、家の中にみんなはいない。慣れた草と紙の匂い、積み木細工のような空。部屋の隅にはどろりとこびりついたような古い影。死に絶えた音の中で過去を忍ぶ。見ていた夢はもしもの話ばかりだった。例えば、
もし空が曇っていたのなら、もし気づくのが少し早ければ、もし彼が衰えていなければ、もし私が生まれていなかったら、それともしここであなたが目覚めなければ。
夜はますます沈んでいく。きっともう家の中には誰もいない。一人きりは怖いからみんなに会いたくて一人きりで庭に出た。
Wait, what? Okay. All of that was outside of my control. That was automatic. Nothing. I can't.
ほうと吐く息が
I'm
白くな
afraid
って
to push any buttons because I don't know what the controls
庭
do.
はとても指先が痛くなるぐらい
Wait,
寒
wait.
かった。
Please stop. Please.
凍る星、深い闇、さめざめと世界を照らす
I
冷た
can't.
い光。屋敷の庭はすごく広くて
Press plus. I did. Nothing
周り
happened.
は深い闇に囲まれて、森の木々は黒く大きなカーテンのようだった。まるで
Jump.
どこかの劇場みたい。ざーっと梢の窓が開いて、
I'm pushing buttons.
サーカスが始まるのかとワクワクした。
I don't know what's happening.
遠くでいろんな音がしている。黒い木々のカーテンの奥、森の中でみんなが楽しそうに騒いでる。幕はまだ開かない。我慢できずに森の中へと入っていった。
What is the haps, my fellow gamers? I don't know.
暗い。
Everything's going
森は
automatically.
深くて冷た
I'm
い
afraid.
光も届かない。いろいろな音がしていろいろなものがある。けれど暗くてよくわからない。途中で誰かとすれ違ったかもよく記憶できないぐらい。自分の名前を呼ばれた気がして、もっと奥へと歩
That
い
is
ていっ
VN
た。
hard as fuck. I can't. I'm hesitant to talk.
木々のベールを抜けた後、森の広場にはみんな揃って待っていた。わからない。
What?
向こうから見知らぬ人がやってくる。
A stranger approaches me from across the clearing. There's a weapon in their hand.
みんなをそうしたように僕もバラバラに
He's
し
in
た
my
みた
walls.
い。よくわからない。ぼんやりとその人を見る。なすすべもなく狂気を待つ。けれどいよいよという時に誰かが僕の前にやってきて、僕は子供だからよくわからない。
What?
びしゃりと温かいものが顔にかかる。赤いトマトみたいに赤い水。本当によくわからないけれど、
You can say that again.
ただ寒くて僕は泣いてしまいそうだった。森は黒くて見たくない。地面は赤くて見たくない。だから空を見上げることにした。目に温かい黄色が混ざってくる。眼球の奥に染み込んでくる。
A canopy draped over the
だけど
cosmos.
全然気にならない。
A porcelain face unveiling
夜
the
空には
night.
ただ一人きりの月がある。見知らぬ人は
Falling
今
stars,
度こそ僕を
mysterious
バラ
and
バラにしよ
serene.
うとやってくる。なのに僕はぼんやりと
But I can't tear my
いつま
eyes
でも
away
青い
from the
影を見
boundless
上げて
blue
いる。
cloak of night.
すごく不思議。
How strange.
どうして今まで気がつかなか
Why
ったん
didn't
だ
I
ろう。
notice before?
ああ、今夜はこんなにも。何も見えない。
I can't see anything.
世界がだんだん消え
The
てい
world
く。
begins to fade,
その中で
but that cold light still shines in the darkness.
Ah, 気がつかなかった。
I didn't even notice
今夜はこんなにも
just how beautiful
月が
the moon is
綺麗
tonight.
だ。
And there we go. That's the title screen I was expecting to see before the game opened. Hello, welcome to this Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon. Now, I'm having some trouble with my pass-through. I tested before stream, but apparently that didn't matter. Let me try and make some adjustments really quick. I'm gonna mute. Okay, well, that's not going to work. So, fortunately for me, because I'm using a capture card directly into my computer, I can just read it right off of OBS, so that'll be fine. I am, however, going to go ahead and mute sound alerts, as well as anything else that's not the game, specifically because this is a reading stream, so I want you guys to get the fullest out of all of that stuff. My brother in Christ, what did I just say? In fact, if I disable the... Yeah, I gotta disable... Okay, hold on. Let me I'm gonna unmute it, disable or hide the element. That way, that way it should be inactive. You shouldn't be able to spend bits, at all. That way, nobody feels cheated. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, get comfy. It's time for Tsukihime. This is a work of fiction. Any persons or groups that appear therein are entirely fictional. Any resemblance to actual persons or groups is purely coincidental. This work contains depictions of violence and scenes of disturbing nature. This is an M-rated game. Recording and publication of images, voices, or videos using the games is forbidden by the consent of right holders. Basically, use of this game's device, recording or stream functions is permitted with the exception of points in the story where the function has been restricted. Function has been restricted. It'll be fine. I wake up to find myself in a hospital bed. There are curtains that gently sway. A chilly breeze enters through an open window. I instinctively squint at the harsh color of the room. Where am I? What day is it? What happened to me? I can't seem to think straight. I try to push myself up, but a sharp pain courses through my body. My breath catches in my throat, and I start gasping for air like a fish. Is this what I mean by seeing stars? The moment I place my hand against the hard bed, pain erupts from the inside out again. Still laying down, I take a deep breath and look over my body. Both my hands are covered in bandages. My left leg's also set in a plaster cast. I feel a tightness around my head, so it must be wrapped up too. A large, thick adhesive strip is stuck to my chest, like it's hiding something bad. My left arm has a tube poked into it. Some part of me understands that it's an IV. I guess I must have seen all this while I was drifting in and out of sleep. The other room, dimly lit and reeking of medicine and chemicals. The array of tubes poking out from under the bandage on my chest. The scary man in the suit who came to see me. My little sister getting scolded by the man when she came to visit. And the doctor as giddy as a child. I remember all of it like it was a dream. Wait, are you awake? I'm gonna adjust the volume just a little bit here. You guys let me know if that's too loud or too quiet. I hear the voice of an unfamiliar woman. I don't have the strength to answer her. Then she bursts out of the room, frantically calling for the doctor. It must have been the nurse. Pitter-patter, go her steps. She really shouldn't be running in a hospital, even if it is to get me help. Unable to lift my body, I turn my head and look up at the window. I feel a sharp pain in each of my eyes, as if a jagged knife were poking and prodding around inside my brain. The sky outside is so blue it looks unreal. I find my eyes flinching not from the white-hot glare of the sun, but from the spotless stretch of blue. Days pass. Since waking up, I still haven't been able to move from the bed. My only view of the outside world is the same faraway sky as before. Gently, the curtains flap. A dry wind touches my cheek. The stainless swath of blue leaves my eyes feeling woozy. Where am I? What day is it? Why am I in a hospital? Gradually, the answers come to me. Except for one. I keep looking out the window, a thought just out of reach. Something important. A tearful promise I can't remember.
はじめまして、遠野四季君。
Hello, Mr.
回復
Shikitono.
はおめでとう。
You seem to be recovering quite well. Words from a man I've only just met. He offers me a handshake. With his gentle smile and soft-spoken voice, he seems like a kind man. Though I get the feeling he's someone who could wipe the smile off his face at the flip of a switch. The clean white coat he wears fits him perfectly.
四季君、
Mr.
先
Tono,
生の言ってい
do
る
you
ことが
understand
わ
what
か
I'm
るか
saying?
い？
いえ
No. What
僕
am I
は
doing in
ど
a
うして
hospital?
病院にいるんですか？
There's a very light voice for a young man, but I imagine he's quite young.
覚えていないんだね
I。suppose you wouldn't remember.
君は道
You
を
were
歩
hit
い
by
てい
a
る
car
時
while crossing
自
the
動車
street.
の交通事故に巻き込まれたんだ。胸にガラスの破
A
片
piece
が
of
刺さ
glass
っ
was
て
lodged in
ね。
your chest.
と
It's
て
a
も
miracle
助
that
かる
you're
よう
even
な傷じゃ
alive.
なかったんだよ。
The man draped in white smiles as he utters something a doctor probably shouldn't say. It's a miracle that you're alive. The queasy feeling I was holding back threatens to spill out after I hear those words.
眠いです。
I'm tired.
眠っていいですか？
Can I sleep some more?
ああ、そうしなさい。
Yes, of course.
今は無理をせ
Get
ず
some rest and try not
体
to
を休ま
overexert
せてあ
yourself.
げないとね。
He just like me for real. The doctor continues smiling. Honestly, it makes me feel uneasy.
先生、
Doctor,
一つ聞い
can
て
I
いいで
ask
すか？
something first?
何かな？
Of course, Mr. Tono. What is it?
どうして
How
体中
come your
に落
body
書
has
きを
all
してい
those
るんですか？
scribbles?
この部屋もとこ
The
ろどころ
room's
ひ
full of
びだらけ
cracks
で、
too.
今にも
Looks
崩
like
れちゃ
it
い
could
そう
fall
です。
apart any minute. Oh. For a brief second, the smile vanishes from the doctor's face. Then he rises out of his seat, smile reapplied. His shoes clack against the floor as he disappears behind the curtain.
やはり脳に異常があるようだ。
I suspected there may be some issues with the cerebral faculties.
脳外科の芦谷先生
Call
に連
Dr.
絡を
Ashia in neurosurgery for a
視
consult.
神経にも損傷の
Oh,
疑
and
い
the
が
boy
ある
may
ん
have
だ。
damage to his
午後
optical
は
nerves.
眼科検査に回すよ。
Schedule an exam for this afternoon. The doctor whispers to his nurse, his voice cold and harsh, starkly different from before.
変なの。
It's so
みんな
weird.
体に落書きして
They
る。
all have scribbles on them, too. The frenzied lines cling to every surface of the hospital. I don't know why, but just seeing them is enough to make me feel sick.
なんだろう。
I wonder what these are. There are even scribbles on my bed. I touch one of them with my finger. Swoop. The finger slides in.
Oh.
Ah. If I had something thinner, I bet I could go even further. I grab a plastic knife off a nearby tray and trace one of the scribbles with it. With no effort at all, the knife sinks down to the handle. Enjoying myself, I glide the knife along the lines in the bed. Crash! With a heavy sound, the bed falls neatly into two pieces. I turn to the voice behind me. The shriek belongs to a nurse standing at the door, her face stiff with shock.
どうやってベッドを壊したんだね。
Mr. Tono, do you want to tell me how you broke the bed? I notice the doctor hasn't asked me why I broke it, but how.
その線をなぞったら切れたんだよ。
I cut up the bed by following the lines.
ねえ、どう
How
して
come
こ
the
の病院
hospital's
は
full
ひ
of
び
all
だ
these
らけなの？
cracks anyway?
いい加減にしないか、指揮
Mr.
官。
Tono, please.
そ
There are
んな
no
線なん
lines.
てないん
I
だ。
promise I won't be
それ
mad.
で
Now, can you
ど
tell
うやっ
us
て
how
ベ
you
ッドを
broke
壊
the
したん
bed?
だい？怒らないから教えてくれないかな。
だから
I told you
線を
already.
なぞっ
I
た
just
だけ
followed
なん
the
だ。
lines.
わかった。
I see.
この話
We'll
はま
talk
た
more
明
about
日に
this
しよう。
tomorrow. The doctor lets out a sigh. He stopped smiling as soon as I mentioned the scribbles. I guess his switch is broken. The hospital's full of broken things. In the end, no one believed me. No matter what it is, I can cut it cleanly by slicing the lines with a knife. I don't even need to put any muscle into it. It's easy, like cutting paper with a pair of scissors. The bed, the chair, the desk, the walls, and even the floor. None of them are any different. And I've never tried it, but I'm positive it would be the same for people, too. No one else can see the scribbles. Only I can. I think it's because everything is falling apart. And these are the seams holding them together. Just like my chest. It still hasn't fully healed after the operation, so they've stitched me up where it would have otherwise fallen apart. That's gotta be it. I mean, how else could a kid like me cut up a whole wall? The nurse screams again. Seeing the holes in the wall, she glares in my direction. Her shriek goes on and on. Luckily, something is up with my ears, so it doesn't sound all that loud to me. The drawn-out noise fills me with dread, like the sound of a burning cicada. Yikes. Everything is in tatters. The idea of opening my eyes, of living at all, is enough to make me want to disappear. All this time I never knew about the stitches holding the world together, and how easily they can break. No one else sees them. That's why they can go on living just fine. They don't know about the cracks all around us. They don't know how damaged their lives are. But I see it all. It chills me to the bone, holding me in place. Since it happened, everything sounds muffled, like my ears have been stuffed. Only the gash in my chest screams like a siren. But what happened, and when? No matter how hard I try, I can't remember, and scratching my head over it doesn't help either. My brain must have gotten rid of that information to make space for something more important, but the questions still leak out like water from a tap. Oh, I think I get it. The pieces all fit. That's why there's no mirror in here. If there was, the very first thing I would do is it. I'd be laughing while it lay there shattered. Which means they're not the ones in danger of breaking. It's me who's broken. Now it all makes sense. Why 2 weeks have passed and no one believes me? Why 2 weeks have passed and no one's come to see me? Why 2 weeks have passed and I'm the only one living in this stitched-together world? I don't want to be in the hospital anymore. I don't want to be surrounded by these scribbles. I have to get somewhere far away, where there won't be any people around. I'm not the weird one. It's this place that's weird, is what I tell myself, as I make a run for it. But the wound in my chest stops me from getting too far. By the time I realize it, I've ended up in the field next to the hospital. I didn't get very far at all. My chest is burning. I squat to the ground miserably, battling a bout of coughs. I can't stay here, but I can't go anywhere else either. There's nowhere to go for someone who can still see all of the stitching. Another wave of coughs hits me. No one's around. A sea of grass at the end of the summer. It would be the worst place to disappear. The thought is suddenly interrupted.
君、
Hey,
そんなところで
you'll
し
get
ゃが
hurt
ん
if
で
you
ると
stay
危
there.
ないわよ。
The voice of a woman cuts through to my ears, clear as crystal. Oh my god.
絵じゃないでしょ。
Chat. Chat, it's her. Chat, it's Aoko. Don't harm me.
ただでさえちっこいんだから。
Squirt like you
草む
shouldn't
ら
be
で
curled
うずく
up
ま
in
ってる
such
と
tall
見えないの
grass.
ね。
You almost got punted
気
across
を
the
つけな
field.
さい。危うく蹴り飛ばされるところだったんだから。
The woman scolds away, her finger pointing at me grumpily. I feel anger creep up inside me. I'm not that small. I'm only the 4th shortest in my class.
蹴り飛ばされるって
And who's gonna kick me, huh?
バカね。
Isn't
そん
that
なの決ま
obvious?
ってるじゃない。ここにいるのは私
You
と
and I are the
君
only
だけ
ones
なんだ
here.
から。
Who else could it
私
be
以
but
外に
me?
誰がいるっていうの？
The woman sure looks proud of herself, crossing her arms like that.
ここで会ったの
Well,
も
maybe
何
it's
かの
fate
縁
that
だ
we
し、
found each other here.
少し話し相手
The
になって
name's
くれない？
Aoko Aozaki. What's yours?
私は青崎青子って言うんだけど、君は？
She speaks casually, like one friend to another, and offers out her hand. Seeing no reason to refuse, I introduce myself as Shiki Tono, and accept her offered hand, like I'm being pulled in magnetically. Talking to her is fun. She doesn't shoot down anything I say just because I'm a kid. And she treats me like a person, listening to my every word. I tell her all about myself. I tell her about home, about my long family lineage, how my dad is tough on etiquette and stern all the time, how I have a little sister, Akiha, who's really quiet and follows me everywhere, how I always play with Akiha and her friends in the garden, which is as big as a forest since we have a huge mansion, how the attic is our secret spot, how I'm bad at word games, how everyone says I'm going to grow taller, how I used to like the smell of hospitals, but now I don't, how I love the sky when it's clear and blue, but looking at it makes me want to cry, how I'm glad to be alive, how I don't even hate the doctor with the pretend smile. I surprise myself. I keep yapping away feverishly.
おっと、もうこんな時間。
Oh, look at the time.
悪いわね、シキ。
Sorry, Shiki. I
私、
have some
ちょ
stuff
っと
I need to
用事
take
があ
care
る
of.
から、
Let's
お
stop
話は
here.
ここまでにしましょう。
The woman starts to leave. The thought of being alone again fills me with sadness.
じゃあまた明日。
See
こ
you
こで待って
tomorrow.
るからね。
I'll be waiting here for you.
君もちゃんと病室に帰って、きちんと医者の言いつけを守るんだぞ。
Excuse me. Now be a good boy and go back to the hospital. And listen to what the doctor says, alright?
Oh.
Oh. She says it so naturally, as if the idea that we weren't going to meet again tomorrow hadn't even crossed her mind, and leaves. Forgot TTS's bits? Yeah. Oh, I forgot to pin a message about that actually. Hold on. There you go. We mute them for reading streams. You remember. Shiki is also the name of the protagonist of Karo no Kyokai. I wonder if that's intentional since they have different surnames. Well, probably, because that Shiki is a woman, right? Like she's a girl. I think I watched the first K&K episode, short film, whatever they are. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I never watched any of the rest of them. That might be intentional. I'm not sure. It probably is. I would not. This is Type Moon after all. Anyway, since I've got a moment here, I'm gonna try something else to try and fix my capture here. Just give me a moment if you don't mind. Okay, that didn't work the way I wanted it to, but it is slightly better, I think. So we're gonna go with it. See you tomorrow. We'll get to talk again tomorrow, just like we did today. I'm so happy. It's the first time I've felt something so strongly since waking up from the accident. Going to the grassy field in the afternoon has become a regular thing. The lady would get angry whenever I called her Aoko. She seems to hate her own name. Unsure what to call her at first, I eventually settled on Master. Shisho. Master always listens to whatever I have to say. Solves each and every one of my problems. Since the accident, I've hated talking to people. But thanks to her, I'm slowly becoming my old self again. No, it's not a rerun. This is a new game. It just happens to also have Aoko. Congratulations, welcome in. Being here on the grassy field is the only time my worries slip away and I feel like the old me. I don't know who she really is, but I get the sense she could actually be a real teacher at some school. Not that it's any of my business. Being around her is fun. That's all that matters. Hey, Master, look what I can do. I want to surprise her. I pull out a knife I took from the hospital, and I cut the tree standing in the field. Tracing the lines, I slice from the center of the tree to the bark. Cool, don't you think? I can see these scribbles everywhere, and as long as I follow them, I can cut anything like butter. No one else can do this, right? Uh-oh. She's speechless. I get into a groove and decide to sink my knife into a horizontal line across the base of the tree. She rushes toward me, and I feel the palm of her hand slap my cheek. Master? You need to stop. What you just did was incredibly thoughtless. She stares at me seriously. It's an unforgiving look, the determined gaze of someone about to punish an evildoer. How could I be so stupid? I was having so much fun. I completely forgot. These scribbles shouldn't exist, which means someone like me who can see them shouldn't exist either. A feeling of regret seeps into my chest like blood. I wish I could crawl up into a ball and die. That tree was the last reminder that this field was once a forest. And desperate to show off, I went and destroyed it. For no real reason at all.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry. I feel tears trickle down my face. I know boys shouldn't cry, but I can't help it.
四季。
Shiki. I hear my name called softly. Suddenly, even with the knife still in my hand, she hugs me tight.
謝る必要はないわ。
You don't need to apologize. You
まあ
did do something worth getting
確か
angry
に四季
over,
は怒られるよう
but
な
it
こと
doesn't
を
mean
し
you're
たけ
the
ど
only one to do something
そ
bad.
れは決してあなただけが悪いってわけじゃないんだから。
It doesn't?
悪いのは僕だけじゃない。
ええ。
No.
でもね、四
But
季
listen, Shiki.
それと
If
は
someone
別
doesn't
のと
set
こ
you
ろ
straight
で
now,
今
it'll
誰
lead to
かが
mistakes
君を
that
叱
can't
っ
be
ておかない
undone.
と取り返しのつかないことになる。だから私は
So I
あ
have
な
to
た
give
を
it to you
一人
straight,
の人間として見
like
た。
you were just any other person.
同じ立場の人
What
間
you
として
did
意
was
見
something I
して
couldn't help but react to
怒っ
violently.
て本気で
If I
叩
had
いた。
misjudged my strength, I could have killed you. Her words truly frightened me. It isn't that I'm afraid of her killing me, but that I had pushed her into almost doing so. The thought of it makes my heart sink.
泣かないで、四季。
So don't cry, Shiki.
私も謝らないか
Don't
ら。
worry about apologizing. I won't either.
あなたはそれだけのことをし
Instead,
た
I
んだ
want you to understand the severity of what you've done. Even if it means you hate me for it.
四季は私のことを嫌ってもいいわ。
うん。
I don't
先
hate
生
you.
のこと嫌いじゃないよ。
そう、
Really?
本当に
That's a relief.
よかった。私が君に出会ったのは
It looks like it was fate that you and I met here. And just like that, as if to melt away my feeling of regret, she quietly asks me about the scribbles I keep seeing. When I start telling her about the lines, I feel her hug me tighter.
四季、
Shiki,
君が見ているのは
what you're
現
seeing is
実の
very
ものよ。
real,
決して見えてはいけ
even
な
if
い
they
もの
weren't
だと
meant
し
to
て
be seen,
他の人間にとって
even
は
if
あ
people
りえないこ
refuse
と
to
だと
believe
して
they exist.
その線は
The lines you're
幻で
seeing aren't an illusion.
あなただけにあ
They're
る
a
現実。
reality that's all your own.
そっか。
So that's it.
じゃあやっぱり
I really am weird.
おかしいのは僕だけなんだね。
え
Yes,
え、あなた
Shiki,
は
you
お
are.
かしい。
I won't
そこ
deny
はご
that.
まかしようがない。
I fight back the tears. What she said stings 1,000 times more than when the doctor doubted me. But it's not like I didn't see this coming. From the very start, from the moment I woke up, I've known the truth. I shouldn't even be alive.
謝らないで。
Let's not get ahead of
その異
ourselves.
常はおかしいだけで。
You have a strange
説明がつ
condition,
かない
but it's
ものじゃない
far from unexplainable.
道理が通っているものな
People
ら
can face anything if
人
they
間は
understand the
何にだっ
reasons
て向か
behind
っ
it.
ていける。
At least I've come to believe so.
私の経験則ね。どんなに馬鹿げたデタラメがやってきて
Even
も
an absolute fool will find a way to
知恵と勇気で
triumph
乗
if
り
they've
こな
got
す
the
のは
courage and wisdom to back
私
it
た
up.
ち人間よ。
That's what makes us human. My first lessons, she calls it, with a hint of embarrassment. Having a strange condition isn't a problem itself. The problem is how I choose to deal with it.
じゃあこの落
Then
書き
can you
も説
explain
明
these
できる？
scribbles?
もちろん、
Sure.
ものにはね、
Everything has parts that break
壊れやすい箇所というものがあ
more
る。
easily.
いつか壊れる
The
私
fact
た
that
ち
we'll
は
all break down someday makes us
壊れるがゆえに
imperfect
完全じゃない。
beings.
君の目は
Your eyes see
そ
where
ういっ
things
た
come
も
to an
のの
end.
末路、
So I guess you could say that you see the future.
未来を見てしまっているんでしょう。
未来を
I see
見てるの？
the future?
そうよ。
That's right.
今はそれ以上は
For
知ら
now,
なくていい
that's all you need to know.
もし君がそういう流れに沿って
You'll
しまう
learn
時
more
が
when the
来る
time
なら
comes. If you end up crossing that bridge, that is.
それなりの理屈を知ることになるでしょう。先生、
I'm not sure I get what you're saying.
よくわからない。分かっちゃ
Yeah,
ったね。
it's probably better that way.
今大事なのは一
There's
つ
only
だ
one
け。
thing you need to understand.
その線は
You shouldn't try to cut
決
those
して
lines on
い
a
たずら
whim
に切って
again.
はいけない。君の目は
If you do,
物の
you
命を
lose sight
軽
of
くしす
just
ぎて
how
しまった。
precious life is.
先生が言うならしな
I
い。
won't.
それに、
My
なん
chest
だか
kind of
胸
hurts
が
too.
痛いんだ。
I'm sorry.
ごめんね
I
先生。
promise I won't ever do
もう
something
二度
like
とあ
that
んなこ
again.
とはしないから。よかった。
Good.
シキ、
Be sure to remember
今
that
の
feeling,
気持ちを
Shiki.
絶対に忘れないで。
If you do, I know you'll be able to live a happy life.
君は必ず幸せになれるんだから。
She uncoils her arms, freeing me from her embrace. The sensation, cold and yet warm, fades away.
でも先生、
But seeing them puts
こ
me
の
on
落書
edge.
きが見えてると不安なんだ。
Things fall to pieces when I cut
だっ
them,
て
you
こ
know?
の線を引けば切れ
It's
ちゃうん
like
でし
everything
ょ。
around me could come crashing down at any second.
僕の周りはいつバラバラになってもおかしくないじゃないか。その問題は私が
Let
何
me
とか
worry
する
about
わ。
that.
どうやらそれが
After all, it seems
私
to
が
be
こ
what
こ
led
に
me
来
to
た理
you.
由のようだし。
She heaves a long sigh and then smiles at me.
シキ、明日
Shiki,
Kimi
I'll
ni
have a special present for you
totteoki no
tomorrow.
私が君を
I'm going to return
以
you
前の
to
生
your
活
normal
に
life.
戻してあげる。
The next day, on the 7th day since I first met Master, she comes to the field hauling a huge trunk with one hand.
はい。これを
Alright.
かけていれば、
Put these on and you won't have to worry about those weird
もう妙な落書きは見えなくなるはず。
lines anymore. She hands me an ordinary pair of glasses,
僕、目は
but
悪
I
く
can
ない
see
よ。
perfectly fine.
いいからかけなさい。
Just try them
人
on.
は入ってない
They're
から。
non-prescription. I do as she says and put them on. And the moment I do,
あ
wow,
あ、
these
す
are
ごい。
amazing,
す
Master.
ごいよ先生。落書きがちっ
The
とも見え
scribbles are
ない。
all gone.
当たり前よ。
Damn right they are.
わざわざ姉貴
I
の
had
と
to
こ
go
ろ
swipe
に
my
長
sister's
殺し
pair
を
to make
奪っ
them,
てまで
but
作っ
these
た。
mystic eye killers are
青崎青子
bona fide
渾身の一品なん
one-of-a-kind
だから。
Aoko Aozaki
粗末
creation.
に扱ったらただじゃお
Better
かない
take
から
good care
ね
of them,
シ
Shiki.
キ。
I'd just like to take a moment to take us back to Witch on the Holy Night. What was Aoko's sister's name again? I forget. Toko Aozaki. Toko just has, because Toko has mystic eyes of her own, she wore glasses to disrupt them, and whenever she took the glasses off, she could actively use them. Aoko went and stole them from Toko and copied them for Shiki. That's really cool. I like them a lot. I like that a lot. I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm happy.
うん、大事にする。
I will,
けど
I promise.
先生ってすごい
But
ね。
wow, you really are awesome.
あれだけ嫌だった線がみ
You
んな
made
消
all
え
those
ちゃっ
horrible
て。
lines vanish
な
like
んだか
magic.
魔法みたいだこれ。それも当然。
I should hope so.
だって
I
私
am a
魔法
magician.
使いだもん。
A smug grin stretches across her face as she drops the trunk to the ground.
でもねシキ、
There's just one
そ
thing,
の線
Shiki.
は消えたわけじゃないわ。
Those lines haven't vanished.
ただ見えなくしているだけ。
If you take those glasses off,
そのメ
you'll
ガ
see
ネを
them
外
again.
せば線はまた見えてしまう。見えないだけ？
You mean they're still there?
ええ、 そればっかりはもう直しようがないこと
There's no way to fix your condition.
君はその目と
Best you can do is
なん
find
と
a
か
way
折
to
り合い
live
を
with
つけ
it.
て生きていくしかないの。やだ、
No way.
こんな怖い目
I don't want these scary eyes.
またあの線を切っちゃったら
They're just going to make me break my
先生と
promise
の
to
約
you.
束が守れなくなる。あ
Ah,
あ、も
what
う
about
二度
never
と
cutting
線
the
を
lines
切らないっ
again?
ていうあれか。バカね。
Silly.
あんな約束気軽
You
に
can
破っ
break
てい
that
いの
promise
に。
whenever you feel like it.
そうなの？
Really?
だって
But
すごくいけない
didn't
こ
you
と
say
だって
cutting
言
the
った
lines
じゃ
is
ないか。
bad?
ええ、いけない
You're
ことよ。
right. It is.
けど、
But
そ
those
の目
eyes
は
of
誰
yours
にも
carry a
頼
special
らない。
power that belongs to
君
you
個人の
and no
力
one
なんだも
else.
の。だから、それを使
It's
おう
up
と
to
する
you
のは
how you
君の
choose
自
to
由。
use them.
その目
No
が
one
ある
can
こと
blame
に
you
つい
for
て、
having that power.
君以外の他の誰も君を責めることはできない。問われることがあるとし
The
た
only
ら、
question is what you
あ
want to
なた
do
が
with it,
その
Shiki.
力で何をしたかということだけよ、シキ。僕が
What I
何をする
want
か
to。do? She stares into my eyes as if trying to peer inside.
そういうこと。
That's how it is.
や
Yep,
っぱり
as I
いい目だ。
thought. You have a fine look in your eyes.
正直言うとね、
To tell you the truth, when I
初
first
め
ran
て
into
君
you,
と会
I
った時、
wondered what kind of
めん
mess
ど
I'd
くさい
gotten
のにぶ
myself
つかっちゃっ
into.
たなーって思ったん
You
だ。
looked like someone who had
だって
lost so
君
much already.
見た感じいろいろなくしてきたみたいだから。でも、問題な
But
ん
I
てな
guess
か
I
っ
had
た。
nothing to worry about.
君はちゃんと生き
Those
てる。
eyes aren't the eyes of someone willing to take
Nara,
things lying down.
人生かけて取り返していき
So
なさい。
go. Reclaim the life you lost. Even with a whole lifetime, I could never find the words to describe the light I felt in my chest, or the rush of joy that came with it. You belong here. She reaffirmed my reason for being more forcefully than anyone.
シキ、
She,
君は個人が保有
you
す
have
る
one of the
能
most
力の
unique
中でも、
abilities,
ひどく
even
得
among
意な
all
能
of
力
the
を持って
strange
し
and
まった。
wondrous things out there.
けど、
But the
そ
fact
れ
that
が
you have
君にあ
it
るというこ
means
と
there
は、
must be a reason
何
for
かし
it.
らの意味があるということなの。神様は何の意味もな
God
く
doesn't
力を
grant
与
power
え
to
ない。
people for no reason.
君の未来に
It
は
might
必
be
要
that
に
you
なる
have
時
the
があ
eyes
る
of
から、
death
そ
perception
の直
because
視
you'll
の目
need
が
them
あるとも
someday.
言える。
Though that sure is a cruel
そ
fate.
れは残酷なことだろうけど。だからこそ忘れないで。君はとても
But
まっ
that's
すぐ
why you
な
mustn't
心
forget
を
who
してい
you
る。
are. A boy with an honest heart.
今の君がある
As long
限
as
り、
that's true, your
そ
eyes
の目
will
は
never
決して間
lead
違
you
った
astray.
結果は生まないでしょう。成人になれなんてこと
I'm
は
not
言わな
asking
い。
you to be a saint.
君
just do
は
what you
君
think
が
is right.
正しいと思う大人になればいい。いけないということを素直に
If
受
you
け
can
止めら
learn
れ
from
た
any
ら、
mistakes you make,
ごめ
you'll
んな
grow
さい
into
と
a
言え
fine
る君
man,
なら、
maybe 10 years or
10
so
年
down
後
the
には
line.
きっと素敵な男の子になってるわ。
She stands and reaches out for the trunk.
でも、よっぽどのことがない限り、メガネは
Oh,
外し
I
ちゃダメ
will
だから
say you
ね。
shouldn't take those glasses off
特
except
別
in
な力は
extraordinary
特
circumstances.
別な力を呼ぶもの
Special
だし。
powers have a tendency to attract other special powers.
はい。
And
私から
here's
の
one
忠
more
告。
piece of advice from
そ
me.
の2。反則の出しどころ。
If you're going to break the
勝負ど
rules,
ころをよく考
think
え。
long and hard about the best time to do it.
そうならないことを
I
祈っ
pray
てい
you
るけ
never
ど、
have to.
どうして
But
も
should you
自
ever
分の
need
手
to
に
take
は
off
負え
those
ないと判
glasses,
断した時だ
think
け、
clearly
メガ
before
ネ
you
を
use
外
your
して、
power.
よく考えて力を行使なさい。その力自体は決して悪いもの
Power
じ
you
ゃない。
have isn't bad.
結果をいいものにする
Whether
か
you use
悪
it
い
for
ものにす
good
る
or
か
for
は、
evil
あ
is
くま
your
で
choice
君
to
の
make.
判断次第なんだから。
She picks up the trunk. And without her even saying a word, I know. It's time for us to say our goodbyes.
無理だよ先生。
That's impossible,
僕だ
Master.
けじゃいいことになん
I
てで
can't
き
use
ない。
this power for good.
本当は
I was so
先生
afraid
に会
of
う
it
まで
until I
怖
met
くて
you.
たまらなかった。
And if it weren't for you,
けど
I wouldn't even
先
be
生がい
myself
てくれた
anymore.
から僕は僕に戻れたんだ。ダメなんだ。
I I can't do it.
先生がいなくちゃ。
Even if I have these glasses, there's no
こんなメガネ
way.
があったってダメに決まって
Not
るじゃ
without
ない
you
か。
around.
シキ、
Shiki,
心にも
you
ないこと
shouldn't
を
say
言わな
things
い
you
こ
don't
と。
believe.
自
A
分
lie
自
that
身
you
も
can't
騙
even
せない
fool
ような
yourself
嘘は
with will only
聞
end
い
up
ている
upsetting
方
the
を
one
不
who
快に
hears
さ
it.
せるわ。
Master's displeasure is readily apparent in her expression. She then flicks my forehead.
自分でも分かっているんでしょ。
You already
も
know
う
it, don't
大
you?
丈夫だって。
You'll be fine.
なら、そんなつまらないことを
So
言っ
don't say
て。
something stupid like that and
せっかく
throw
掴んだ
away
自分を
everything
捨
you
てては
just
いけない
reclaimed
わ。
for yourself.
それじゃあお別れね。バイ。
This is farewell then. Bye, Shiki.
どんな人間だって
Everyone's
人
got their own
生
share
っ
of
てのは
problems
落
to
とし穴
overcome
だ
in
らけな
life.
のよ。君はそれを何とかで
But
きる
you have
力
the
がある
strength
ん
to
だ
do
から、
something about it.
もっとちゃんと
So
しな
pull
さい。
yourself together. She's really leaving. I'm sad, but as her friend, I want to see her off right. Okay.
さよなら、先生。
Goodbye, Master.
よし、上出来上出来。
Great.
そ
That's
の
the
息で
spirit.
いつまでも元気でね。
Just keep that up and you won't have a thing to worry about.
最後の教訓。
Here's my last
ピンチ
lesson
の
for
時
you.
はまず落ち着いて。
When you're backed into a
その
corner,
後によく考
calm
え
down
る
and
こと。
think carefully about what you should do next.
大丈夫。
You're going to be
君なら
fine.
一人でもちゃんとやっていけるから。
Excuse me. My reading yawns are catching up with me. I forgot. You're going to be fine. I have faith you'll turn out all right, even without me. She smiles fondly. A gust of wind sweeps through, sending a ripple across the sea of grass. She's gone.
バイバイ、先生。
Bye bye, Master. As I say the words, the realization that I'll never see her again sinks in. Left with me are a treasure trove of advice and a strange pair of glasses. In just 7 days, I feel like I've learned the most important things of all. As I stand there aimlessly, tears start welling up. I'm such an idiot. All I said was goodbye. Not once did I say, thank you. I'm discharged from the hospital soon after. I won't be going back to the Tono household. Instead, I'm to be taken in by another family. My body has recovered, but there are still lasting symptoms. To the Tonos, this means I'm defective. I'm no longer needed. But I don't care. Shiki Tono is going to be fine on his own. A new life and a new family are waiting for me. I leave behind the hospital room where I spent my 10th summer. The curtains by my window sway in the breeze, just like always. I take in one last glimpse of the blue sky. As I do, a dry breeze washes over me, spelling the end of summer. Day 1. Homecoming 1. I'm going to press the X button. Okay, good. What? I'm going to press the Y button. Nothing happened. I'm going to press the plus button. I guess X is the only one that does anything. The tracks take a sudden dive, leaving the surface behind. Casting an artificial light across the tunnel walls, the train makes its way through the darkness. The car creaks around me. Man-made lights pass by at regular intervals. The vibration through the seat lulls me into reflection on this short little journey. I'm going to press the minus button. Nothing happened. It's early, 6:33 a.m. Oh, that was... Something did happen, actually. But to the controller. 30 minutes have come and gone since I got on this train. That's how long it's been since I said goodbye to the people who took care of me all this time. How I react to this probably says a lot about me as a person. I'm sure some people might feel sad and wish they could have stayed longer. Others would accept it without a second thought. I wonder which side I fall on. I realize after a moment that I don't really feel either. I'm the only one sitting on the 8-seater bench. The seats in front of me are empty. There are only a couple of other people on the train, including a sleeping man in a suit on the bench next to mine, and a woman standing in front of the door. I see you, Phantom. It may be early, but it feels particularly empty today. The noise from outside is strangely muted, but maybe I'm just lost in thought. The train vaguely reminds me of a spaceship traveling through the darkness of outer space. No sound can reach it out here. The only things here are my stupid daydreams, the sound of my heart beating, and my memories from an hour ago. You right. It came like a bolt from the blue. Makihisa Tono has died. Shiki Tono is to return to the Tono household immediately. The first contact I'd had from my family in 7 years, and that was how it goes. The Tono family's word is final. I'm still a student, and they pay for all my expenses. But choosing to return to the mansion today instead of yesterday was my one act of defiance. I just wanted to stay a little longer at the home where I'd spent so much of my life. It was all I could do for the family that took me in and treated me like their own. Thank you for breakfast. It was delicious. I finish my meal and leave the table before the sun even rises. After taking one final glance at my room, I clap my hands together in thanks. It's not much for all the time I've stayed here, but I don't want to leave anything unsaid. I led a happy life here. That's what I want to carry away with me. Keiko saw me off alone as I left the Arima household. I asked to leave quietly, without waking the others. Thank you for everything. Give my regards to Dad and Miyako for me. 7 years. The woman who had acted as my mother in that time looked terribly sad. I never once thought I'd see her like this. Life may be hard at the Tono mansion, but you'll be okay, understand? Don't overdo it. Make sure to look after your health first and foremost. I take her words of encouragement to heart. My time spent with them was peaceful. I just hope I didn't cause the Arimas too much trouble during my time with them. It's been 7 years. I've had plenty of time to recover. I'm a lot sturdier than I look, you know. Yes, you're right. The Tonos are quite the unusual family, but you're not one to let that bother you. You've always been a strong boy. She smiles through her sadness, and I smile back. I'm happy that she still considers me to be her child. I think you're giving me a little too much credit. Well, I should get going. Take care, Mom. Goodbye, Shiki. Take care. Keiko knows that I won't be coming back. She sends me off with tears in the corner of her eyes. That was just 40 minutes ago. That moment marked the end of my previous life, and the start to my new one. The view outside shifts slowly. We must have crossed the river that separates the suburban Yashirogi and arrived in the city of Soya. The train begins its return climb to the surface. I can feel the gentle incline. Bright light shines through, piercing my eyes, which had grown accustomed to the artificial dimness of the subway. Flashbang. The train sweeps toward the city. The majority of its inhabitants are still asleep. Outside, the air is chilly. A fall morning in the month of October. The heat of the summer is little more than a faint memory now. I've watched the same view nearly every day for a year and a half now. But this is the last time I'll be taking this train to school. Memories of the past 7 years rush by like the scenery outside the window. I survived a terrible injury that would have killed most 10-year-olds. I met the woman that would become my master, my mentor in life. I went to live with the Arima family. And now I'm halfway through my 2nd year. Yeah, I guess I didn't add Flashbang to 7TV. I'm gonna have to remember to do that after stream. Somebody remind me, because that's too good. That's too good an emote to not have. The thing Master feared might happen when we parted never came to pass. And as long as I have these glasses on, I don't have to worry about seeing those lines again. And so, Shikitono has led an ordinary, though at times difficult, life. That all changes today. There's nothing major like feeling I don't belong or anything like that. I just don't feel right going back to the way things were before. Having lived a normal life these past few years, the Tono's family's way of doing things just seems like a pain, or at least more trouble than it's worth. Besides, I can't even imagine living in a mansion bigger than my entire school. I'm surprised I was able to handle it when I was a child. The thought of going back to that old-fashioned way of life is daunting, to say the least. Train stops at a large station for a few minutes. The local line I'm taking has to wait for the express to pass. The platform is empty. Usually I would expect to see morning commuters in suits on their way to work, but it's particularly quiet today. The express passes by on the neighboring rails. Thank you for your patience. The next stop is... An announcement I've heard hundreds of times plays. The door closes with a hiss of air. I see that there are 4 stations left to Soya Station, the station where my school... Oh, wait! Phew. That was a close one. Enter girl. Mid! The chick's been on screen for less than 10 seconds and bro says mid! What the fuck? Man, I'm inclined to agree. I could have lost my head if I wasn't careful. A girl wearing my school's uniform slips through the automatic doors as they close. Her ribbon is green, so she must be a 3rd year. I feel like I've seen her before. Use that lowercase o. Trust. The The bag she's holding in her hands must contain things for her club activities. Our eyes meet for a moment. The girl continues to stare at me. Just when I notice that she's walked closer. Good morning. Sorry about all that. Oh no. If anything, I'm sorry for staring. The way she smiles has me apologizing almost by reflex. Please, it's my fault for causing such a big scene in the first place. As a third year, I should be setting a better example. I guess you weren't lying when you said you weren't a morning person. The girl laughs lightly. I'm distracted by her laughter and... Come on, it's me. We just met last week, don't you remember? Ciel? In an instant, my memory is jolted awake. I knew she felt familiar. I've crossed paths with her a number of times. Now that I think about it, there's probably not a person in the whole school who doesn't know Ciel. Like her voice, I feel like I've heard that say before. Same, actually. Also, this might be embarrassing to admit, but whenever I hear the name Ciel, I think Ciel Phantom Hive from Black Butler. Not my typical. I am not the target audience for shows like Black Butler, but I've seen it, and I heard that they're making it either a remake or a new season, and I'm here for it. Anyway, don't worry about it. Soya High's most revered third year. Happy to offer advice to any distraught first year. Eager to solve the woes of any troubled second year. And quick to save underclassmen from the ire of the third years. Do not write that down. Don't write that down. I mean, it's fine. Black Butler's... Yeah, I mean, it's... You watch it and you know who it's for, but, like... It was pretty good. It was cool. It had some cool ideas. I liked it. Some students call her the true student council president, considering most people rely on her over the teachers or our actual student council. She even helped me with something just last week. Man, how out of it am I? Ciel's right about how I hate mornings, but thinking about returning home for the first time in 7 years must be killing my brain cells. Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a true visual novel on our hands. When we read Witch on the Holy Night, that is technically a visual novel. However, it is what is more... It's kind of a subgenre that's referred to as a kinetic novel, in that you do not have... Yes, spot on. You do not have choices. It is simply... it's like reading straight through a book. There's no significant choices to be made. It's just a story, and you read through it. But it has all of the visual elements of a visual novel. Here we have an actual visual novel where we have to make choices, and those choices will matter, and those choices may even sometimes lead to our demise. Meaning, therefore, I'm probably going to have to look up a spreadsheet, or a what do you call that? Not a walkthrough, but like a visual aid that will kind of guide us through any significant choices so that we don't find ourselves splitting the difference between multiple routes. We will not worry about that for today. Most likely we are not at a point where any significant differences or deviations will be made, considering I haven't had the option to save a game yet. So I am not super concerned, but it will be a concern in the future. Anyway, I can't think of a single thing to say. Original game was an arrow game with 5 heroines, so you have to pick best girl. There are, I think, 3 or 4 girls on the box art cover. Not the box art cover, the special edition box cover. One of whom is very Tosaka coded, so I might be biased. But like the main heroine, the titular Tsukihime heroine is, and I don't really know how to pronounce her name, Arcuid, the blonde girl with the red eyes. Yeah, she's like kind of the, she's kind of like the main girl. She's like the saber of this game. I don't know who best girl is yet, but it's not CL. Damn. He kinda spittin'. Unfortunately, I can't think of a single thing to say. CL waits patiently as I fumble for words, a smile on her face never faltering. So, do you usually take the train to school?
そうですね。
Yeah,
用事に
depending
よ
on
って
what I
は
have to
利
do
用
for
しま
that
す。
day.
遠野くんは
What about you,
お
Tono?
家は遠いんで
Do
す
you
か
live far from school?
遠いですよ。
Pretty far.
始発駅
I
か
get
ら
on at the first stop on this line,
でもそれもお
but
しまいで
that's
す
all over now.
電車
This
通
is
学
the
は
last time
そ
I'll
う
be
です
taking the train to school.
おや
Really?
お家がお
Did you
引っ
move
越
or
しとか
something? Unable to come up with a decent explanation, I mumble something non-committal. I shift my gaze to the window and stare at the buildings streaming by. Seiyu is Sakura from Zombieland Saga. Ooh, I never finished that show. I remember. Oh. Hello? We good? We Gucci? I shift my gaze to the window and stare at the building streaming by. CL seems to sense that it's a sensitive subject, and doesn't ask anything more. Yeah, in case you weren't aware, this is the Switch version of the game. Our conversation continues with a faint sense of awkwardness for the next 15 minutes. Charge controller? It is charged, or at least it was. I think I just held it too far away. My Switch is kind of up on a shelf. I got an interesting system here. Don't worry about it. Our conversation continues with a faint sense of awkwardness for the next 15 minutes. Before long, the train reaches our destination, Soya Station. Probably body blocked the connection, that's all. It's just before 7 a.m. I left for school a bit early this morning, so the town hasn't quite woken up yet. It's quiet around the station right now, but in about an hour it'll be bustling with traffic and commuters.
それでは私はこ
Well,
こで
off I go.
話し相手になってくれて
Thank you for
あり
keeping
が
me
とうござい
company.
ました。
If you see me at school,
学校で
feel
見
free
か
to
け
say
たら
hi.
遠慮なく声をかけてくださいね。
CL reminds me of one of the characters from Katawa Shoujo. Anybody remember that? I can't remember. I think she was the student council president. She was deaf. I don't remember her name, but like her hairstyle, Shizune, yeah. Her hairstyle and the glasses really remind me of Shizune from Katawa Shoujo. That, I don't know if we could play Katawa Shoujo on stream. I think it has a setting to turn like the H scenes off. I would hope. I'm pretty sure this game, like Tobias said, it was like there's eroge. Then again, people play Baldur's Gate on stream, and you like straight up just have sex in that game. I mean, personally, I would just rather not like read through that for just because I'd be kind of embarrassed. But yeah, as far as the rules for that go, I would have to look into it. I also am not sure whether I would even have time to do it, because once this is our next project, and then after this, it will depend on when Fate Stay Night comes out. It is slated to release sometime this year, which means sometime in the next 6 months. I don't know when, but we're jumping on that. Ciela runs off with a smile and a wave. Seeing her dash almost makes me want to do the same. Her energy is infectious, but in the end, I have no reason to hurry. I probably shouldn't be running away, considering my condition. I make my way to school at my usual pace. I make my way to school, my steps heavier than usual. It's just about 7 when the main entrance to the school comes into view. Students hurry through the gate to go to their club activities. They must be trying to make the most of their time before homeroom starts at 8. It's interesting to me that in Japanese culture you have club activities sometimes before, sometimes after, and sometimes before and after school. Interesting to me. Soya Municipal High School. An old school celebrating 40 years since its founding. Our college admission rate isn't bad, our clubs do fine, and the rules aren't particularly strict. It's as normal a school as you can find. The only complaint male students have is that their uniforms are too old-fashioned, but the school doesn't pay much attention to it. As for the girls, their uniforms were changed 3 years ago. Apparently, the school was worried that keeping the older sailor uniforms would lead to a drop in enrollment. Something feels out of place on my usual walk to the school. Things feel busier than usual. Pale-faced teachers rush to the faculty room. A black car I've never seen before is parked in the parking lot. There's a chill in the air. Images flash through my mind. A sparsely attended funeral, the cold black of a hearse. I sigh at my own dark thoughts. Trying to shake off the uneasy feeling growing inside me, I head for the classroom. There's no one else here yet. I sit in my chair and kill time until homeroom begins. More people begin to fill the room as I get in some studying. Morning. Managed to survive practice somehow. Huh? You're early, Tomo. I was sure we'd be the first ones here. It must be that volunteer thing. Damn, was that today? I think I was supposed to go to that. The students of 2C get along well compared to the other classes. We're pretty casual with each other before taking our seats. I catch up with classmates who have just ended their club activities. We go through your typical laundry list of things, from last night's ancient news to stuff that happened just minutes ago at school. We're just talking to pass the time, but this is an important morning ritual of ours. A warm-up exercise to start off the day. We'd only tire ourselves out if we tried to have real conversations about everything, especially in this age of information. That's right. I wonder what year this story takes place in. I know that Witch on the Holy Night takes place in, I think, 1988, or maybe somewhere in the 80s, if I recall correctly. But Aoko showed up in the prologue with red hair, which means it was at least 5 years after that. Yes, Gilgamesh, I'm afraid you're late. We already saw Aoko. She's gone now. I love her. I love her long red hair and plain ass t-shirt and literally just a pair of jeans. She's so... I love that. That's great. But yeah, so presumably this takes place in like the 90s-ish. Hello? Maybe my controller does need to be charged. It says it's got full battery. I don't know why it keeps disconnecting. Strange. The mood in the classroom changes suddenly. Sorry, not the immersion. Lively chatter dies down to a whisper. Alright, losers, out of the way. It's too early to deal with this shit. I love characters that are voiced like this. I love this kind of voice. Crude remarks you wouldn't expect to hear amongst this otherwise harmonious bunch. I almost said brunch. Okay, alright, okay. I think something might be wrong with this controller. Hold on. Let me switch to my Joy-Cons. Give me a moment here, please. Okay. Am I hungry? I shouldn't be. Yeah, I just ate before stream. Crude remarks you wouldn't expect to hear among this otherwise harmonious bunch cut through the tranquility. I don't even need to turn around to know who it is. Only one person could do this to a room.
Cheese!
Sup, Four Eyes? Good morning, Megami-kun. He looks like an alt-universe Shiro. What the? You're looking especially like a punk-ass bitch today. You know, as crazy as this might sound, I knew a guy kind of like this in high school. Not exactly like this, but kind of like this. So this does not feel entirely out of place. Yep, only him. A delinquent with little respect for the sanctity of our school. This guy that's the hot-headed character that's eager to get into battle. Oh yeah. And then he gets his ass beat. Hey man, I'm talking to you. I'm actually here before noon once, and you can't even give me a good morning? Gotta be happy I even bothered to show up. Why should I? Bug isn't exactly easy on the eyes. There isn't anything to be happy about. It's not like I come to school to see you. Get his ass. Huh? How's that fair, dude? I come to school to see you. He's like Okuyasu from JoJo Part 4. I'm at a loss for words. Sometimes I wonder why we're even friends. Brutal. He has a dyed head of orange hair and piercings in his ears. Sporting a perpetual scowl that's practically begging for a fight, he seems to follow the delinquent dress code to a T. Though his brand of counterculture might be a little out of style, he still looks the part of a good punk. His name? Arihiko Inui. He's a dog. Inu. Whatever, man. It's good that you're in class at least.
おはようアリヒコ。
Morning,
つい
Arihiko.
に出席日数を
Does
気にしだ
absences
したか
finally catch up with you?
いや、そこは別に気にし
Nah,
な
I'm
い。
not too worried about
まだ
that.
まだ余裕は
I
あり
still
ますよ。
got plenty of wiggle room.
今日は家に姉貴がいるんで。
My sister's at home, so I
サボれ
can't
なくなった
skip
だけ
today, is all.
つうか朝まで
I
デ
was
スマン
playing
してたんで
mahjong all
いい
night,
加
and
減
it
体
really
力
did
の
a
限界
number
が。
on me. My body's already at its limit.
そうか。すまない
Uh-huh.
挨拶を
Sorry,
や
let
り
me
直させて
rephrase that.
おやすみくずひこ。
Good night,
机
trashy
に急げ
ego.
さっさと
Go sleep at your desk already.
何その冷め
That's
た反応。
cold. Holy fuck. Nasu has 6 total character designs, and 3 of them are Saber. That's fucked up. I can't call you a liar, but that's fucked up. That's so funny. And 3 of them are Saber. Man, that's cold.
それが中学か
As
ら
your
のライバルに
bitter,
対
as
す
your
る態度
bitter
です
middle
か。
school rival, you have to at least admit I'm more than
熱
that,
い
or
対応
you're
してください
trash
ね。
too.
なんで俺とお
How are
前
we
がライバルなんだ。
rivals?
無軌道に行きたいんなら
Anyway, you
街
could
で
find a
同行
partner
の
in
死を
crime
見つけた
loitering
ら
in
よ
town. Just
あん
leave
まり
me out
構
of
わ
it.
ないでくれ。
He does still owe me a bunch of money I lent him back in middle school, which makes him more of a moocher than a rival.
どうしてかな。
Why am I the only one you ever
どう
pick
ってば
on,
俺のだ
huh?
け冷たいよな。他の奴らには精
You're
神
like the
科医生の
goddamn
やつは
Pope when you're talking with other people.
不公平じゃ
How
ね
is that fair?
なんだ、分かってる
Finally
じゃない
starting to get it, huh?
世の中、公平なことってあんまりないだろ。
Gilgamesh, thank you so much for the gift sub. Sorry, alerts and everything are on the mute as we're doing a reading stream today. Finally starting to get it, huh? Life isn't fair.
そりゃそうだけどよ。
Well, yeah, that's true.
やっぱお前。
But aren't you especially an ass to me? Arihiko lets out an exaggerated sigh. I don't mean to treat him any certain way. Everything just naturally ended up this way after years of, I guess, unfiltered treatment. We may have completely different interests and tastes, but we seem to operate on a similar wavelength.
まあ、家から
Well,
逃
ignoring
げ
the
て
fact
きた
that you've run away from
身とし
home.
て普段から夜型
I'm
のお前が
surprised a
朝
night
から
owl
出
like
席する
you
なんて
could even show up
どん
so
な
early.
風の吹き回しだ。ちょっと。い
You
や
sure you're
かなり
feeling
普通じゃ
okay?
ないぞ。
まあな、俺だってそう思
You're
う。
telling me.
たまたま目が覚めたからって
I woke up
来るんじゃ
early
ねえな
anyway, so I
学校
figured-
ってやつは
Excuse
ぶ
me.
っちゃけもう帰りてえ。ああ、やっぱ学生には勉強する意思とか必要なんですかね。
I woke up early anyway, so I figured I'd at least show up. But I'm already itching to bail. I guess there's no point in coming if you ain't willing to work. He's not wrong, but when he says it like that, it almost sounds like he wants an award just for making the trip to school.
そのあたりの議論は今度。
Maybe you should try
今の
reciting
時
this stuff to a
鏡に向
mirror
けてやっ
next
てくれ
time.
俺が聞きたいのは、なん
come
で
you didn't
街
go into
に行
town?
かないかってこと
Wouldn't you have been better off lazing about, lazing about at
時間
karaoke
潰
or
す
a
なら
manga
そっち
cafe?
のがいいんじゃない？
Always wanted to try a manga cafe.
そりゃあれだよ。
Yeah, but you know,
最近は何かと
all
物騒
that
だ
shit
から
that's
です
been
よ。
going down lately.
腹ごとこなすのも
Plus,
た
I
だ
don't
じゃ
want
な
to
し
be caught with my
あっ
pants
ちには
down
体
while
力
I'm
あ
not
る
at
時しか顔出
100%,
し
you
たくね
feel?
えわけ。
Got trapped in an ad earlier. That sucks.
物騒
Something's been going down?
おう、
Yeah,
どうのだっ
haven't
て
you
知ったん
heard?
だろ例のあれ。派手に出回ってる
The
逃亡
serial
事件の
killer that's
話
been
だ
making
よ
the rounds like they own the
駅前
place.
のセンター街。
Cops have been all
夜に
over
なると
town
警官も巡回
tonight
してい
looking
るしな
for him.
そっか
Right. I
そんな
think I
話
remember
もあったっ
hearing
け
about that. Haven't you heard? The bird is the word. Oh dear, oh god. Hearing Arihiko talk about it reminds me. These goings-on in Soya hadn't bothered me while I was living several stations away with the Arima family. It was all over the news. I seem to remember...
なんだっけ
What was it they were calling
すごく低俗な
it?
売り文句
It
だっ
was
たけ
something
ど
tacky.
深夜の
The
盗難
Soya
事件
slasher?
だっけ
The hash slinging...
連続猟奇殺人
They're
事
saying
件
it's some super freaky
被
serial
害者は
killer.
大抵若い女
Most
で
of the victims are
2日前
young
に発
women,
見された仏さんで8人
with
目
the one they found the other
か
day
つ
making
全
it
員
the
の
eighth
喉元に
victim.
バツの字の傷跡があるとか
Each one apparently had an X carved into their throat. Weird. My mind can't even picture something like that. You sure about that?
違うよ乾くん
That's not right, Inui.
殺されちゃった人
I heard all
は
the
みん
victims
な
were completely
体
drained
内
of
の
their
血
blood.
液が著しく失われているだよ
He's a vampire. Hello. Those are the world's smallest pigtails. Yumizuka pokes her head out and corrects us, likely drawn by how loud we are.
ああそうだったそうだった
Yeah, that's it.
現
The
代の
headline called him a
吸血鬼
modern day
っていう言い出しだっ
vampire
た
or
もん
something
なあ
like
れ
that. Pigtails, their antennae. She's an Alamau?
サンキューユミズカおはようさん
Thanks, Yumizuka. And morning.
乾く
Good
んもお
morning,
はよ
Inui.
うつ
Apparently,
い
the
でに
wounds
言う
left
と
behind
外
differ
傷
from
には個
person to
人差があ
person.
って
Some bodies
傷
come
が
out
全く
unscathed,
ない
while
場合
others are
と
horribly
損
mangled.
傷の激し
I
いタイ
think
プに分かれてる
it's a
だったかな
brunette Rin. I mean, I see it, but just wait. There's a much more Rin-coded character. I don't know when we'll find them, but they're on the box art, so there's definitely a much more Rin-coded character in this game. And I can't wait to see her.
詳しいんだね弓塚さん
You're pretty knowledgeable about this, Yumizuka.
そんなことないよ
Not at all.
この街で起きている事件なんだもんニュースを見て
It's
れば
just hard not to see it
嫌でも覚え
everywhere,
ちゃう
even when
こ
it's
とだと
happening in
思
our
う
backyard.
とまそういうことだよトーノ
Well, you heard it, Tono.
いくら俺でもな
I'm not crazy
夜
enough to
中
go
に殺
walking
人犯
around
が出歩
town
い
when
て
there's
る
a
うちは
killer
夜
around.
遊びなんざしねっての
I just spent the
最
past few
近は
nights
真
chilling
面
in
目
my
に家の中
place.
で夜更かししてるわけ
Yeah, she is kind of a Rin. She's like Rin if there were no magic-related trauma. Moving on.
なんだそんな理由だったのか
So that's your reason.
まともすぎて逆に
I'm
意
kind of
外だ
surprised it's a half decent one.
殺人犯に
It's
怯
not
え
like
て
you
家に
had
こ
to
もるなん
hide
て
away.
お
It's
前
not
ら
like
し
you.
くもない
Let me try that a third time. It's not like you to hide away and afraid in your house.
らしくないじゃね
Better
え
Rin.
よ
Okay, now hold on a
普
minute.
通は殺人犯に怯えるだろ
Even I'm afraid of a murderer. I ain't that stupid.
こっちはやる気がねえのに
I got no interest in fighting someone really out for blood,
ほどがある
especially if they ain't gonna
絶
do
対
it
にご
fair
めん
and
だ
square.
ね俺はまだ
I
人
still
生
got a
棒
lot
に
of
振り
living
たく
left to
ね
do.
ああ
Fair
そっか
enough.
そう
Guess you'd
だ
have no chance but to fight them off if they
狙わ
managed
れ
to
たら
corner
と
you.
ことんまで付き合うしかないってことだもんな
お前ねそ
You
こは
know
逃げ
running
るっ
away
て選
is an
択肢はね
option,
え
right?
のなんでとことんま
Why
で
would
付
I
き合
try
うん
and
だよ
fight them?
だって逃げられないんじゃないのか
I thought running away isn't an option in those types of situations.
いい遠野に振った俺がアホだった
It's my fault for asking.
実際の話俺も殺人犯は
I'm
気に
not
して
that
ね
worried about it.
ああいう
Getting
のは
caught by something like that just means your
天才だろ
luck's run out.
出会っちまう方に運
What
だ
they call it on the news? An act of God or something?
俺が街に出ないのは
Got a real reason for not going out,
だ
though.
最
A
近
bunch of fools
北
have been
口駅
hanging
前で
around
あ
the
なたの
north
バカ
exit
ど
of
も
the
が湧いてん
station.
だよ
I really don't want to deal with them. The north exit, located on the opposite side of the station from the business district, is downtown Soya, a bustling hub that never sleeps. Adahiko lives on the north side of the station himself. These fools must be pretty bad if he's going to such lengths to avoid them.
どうのも聞いたことねえか
Know about it, Tono?
度胸試しの
Some
よ
kind
う
of
な
weird
もの
dare.
秘
They
密の
say
入
you'll
り
come
口
into
から
a
地下
bunch
道
of
に
money
入っ
if you
て
enter the
奥ま
underground
でつ
using
けれ
a
ば大
secret
金が
entrance
手に
and make
入
it
る
to
って
the
や
end.
つ
それなら私も聞いた
I've
こ
heard
と
about
ある
that
け
too.
ど
Isn't it just
そ
an
れっ
urban
て
legend?
ただの怪談じゃなかった？
ああ結構
Yeah, I hear it's
昔
been
からあ
around
る
for
都
a
市
while.
伝説だったらしいそれを儲け話っぽく
I
仕
got
立
some
てて利用
idiots
してる
believing
バ
that
カど
this
も
is
が
their
いるん
chance
だ
to get
よ
rich.
どっ
No
から
idea
流
where they
れてき
came
た
from,
新
but
参
they're
者かし
seriously
んね
killing
え
the vibe.
おかげで北口の空気の
Doesn't
悪さ
take
は
much
シ
to
ャ
set
レ
them
になら
off.
ねえちょっとしたことで殴り合いが始まるからな 俺基本的に痛い
I
の
don't
嫌
want
だ
to get
し
into it, you know?
あんだけ派手にやってれば
Cops should do
檻も
something
動
about
くだ
them
ろうし
soon, so I'm just
連
staying in
中
my
が捕まる
place
まで
until things
しばら
blow
く自
over.
重して家にこもってんのよ
An urban legend on the north side of the station. I guess I hadn't heard of it since I didn't live nearby. Though I suppose it'll be my problem too, starting today.
なんだよ反応薄い
Wait,
な
what, not exciting enough?
さてはあれか朝から
Gonna
貧
pass
血で
out
ぶっ
again
倒れ
from
た
that
のか
anemia thing?
いや今朝は
No,
まだ
I
大
feel
丈夫
okay today.
心配してくれ
I
るのはあり
appreciate
が
you
たいんだけ
worrying,
ど
but
ね
I'm pretty sure I'd be
そ
dead
う
if I
四
was
六時
anemic
中
all
貧
the
血
time.
を起こしてたら体が持たないよ
It's just called chronic anemia. You can live with it, but it kinda sucks.
ああそりゃもっともだ
Yeah, that makes sense.
遠野が大丈夫だって言うんなら
If you say you're
まあ
alright,
大丈
I'm
夫
sure
なん
you're
だろうな
fine. Unless he means, like, on top of his other conditions, because, yeah, then it kind of makes sense then.
ほら授業が始まるぞ
Class is about to
早
start.
く席に戻っ
Better
て
get
よ
back to your seat.
はいよ
Okay, okay.
そうそう
Oh, by the way,
今 日
I'll
も
be
昼
eating the
飯な
cafeteria today.
食
Got
堂
a
でする
very
から
special
な
guest coming.
驚き
Look
の
forward
特
to
別
it.
ゲストをお呼びしているので楽しみにしてやがれ
Why do I yawn so much when I'm reading? Arihiko laughs suspiciously as he saunters back to his seat.
それじゃあねトーノくん
Talk to you later, Tono.
あ
Oh, yeah.
弓
Sorry
塚
to
さん
drag you
も付
into
き合わ
this,
せて悪か
Yumizuka.
ったね
She walks back to her desk, her footsteps light as a feather. Five minutes after the bell for homeroom, and our teacher still hasn't appeared. 10 more minutes and they are legally allowed to leave. Just as homeroom is about to end, the teacher next door drops by to tell us that Miss Toyama won't be coming in today.
やったー
Yes!
今
No
日の
math
数学
class
実習
today!
じゃん
Someone sounds like they just won the lottery. Miss Toyama is our math teacher. With her absent, we'll have free study instead. Once you finish the worksheet you're given, you're free to spend... Oh my. Oh my. Excuse me. Once you finish the worksheet you're given, you're free to spend the rest of the time however you want. Con Padoru, perhaps in the future. I'm not good at animation. I'm not good at illustration either, but I'm not good at animation. I'd have to commission somebody. But I would totally get a Padoru emote. I love that shit. It's so funny. Some use the time to study, but others just kill time. I start on my worksheet. I actually have no problem with studying. I quit going to after-school lessons as a child, but that was after I was told getting into a good school would be impossible for someone with my condition. Whether you choose to go to college or straight into the workforce, knowledge is never a bad thing to have. I raise my head after solving a few problems and look over to the students near the hallway. I can only hear bits and pieces of their conversations, sitting as far away from them as I am. Second seat from the back against the windows, of course.
やっぱり
So it's true.
信じられない
I don't believe it.
朝練の時
This morning I saw the
先生たちが
teachers running into the
血相を
faculty
変えて職員室
room
に
looking really freaked out.
まだ噂だから
It's just a rumor.
でもそんな簡単
Could
に
she really have?
ひどいよ
It's terrible.
なんでそんなこと
How
に
could something like this? Something certainly feels wrong, I think, knitting my eyebrows. Hold on, let me knit my eyebrows.
昨日の事件
That murder
校長
last
室に
night.
刑事っぽい二人組
I
が
saw two guys who looked like detectives go into the principal's office. I brace myself for what's coming. As familiar as I am with this feeling, I find myself not wanting to accept it. I hold my breath in anticipation for the words to come.
だからさ富山
I heard Miss Toyama died
昨
last
日
night.
死んだらしいよ
I close my eyes, trying to hold back a headache. Mystic eyes of death perception is what Aoko called them. He's having a physical reaction to the concept of death. I'm so in. The morning passes without the rumor about Miss Toyama spreading much further. The classroom is a mess now that it's lunch. Some go to the cafeteria, others to the courtyard, while still others stay in the room and open their lunches at their desks. What should I do for lunch? What should we do for lunch, Chet? You want to go hang out with Arihiko, or you want to stay here? Or maybe we'll take a look at what's going on in the hallway. I'll let you guys pick. Everybody weigh in. Hallway? I feel like Tobias might have some insider information, but that's 2 votes for hallway. Going once. Going twice. The hallway it is. I'm probably not going to hold a poll for every possible decision in this game. That'll take way too long. I have no insider info, just been looking up VAs. Yeah, cast lists are not insider info. The hallways are a mess of activity during lunch, unless any of the characters have names that we recognize, like Alice or Sojiro, or, well, Aoko, but we've already seen her. Or Tosaka or something. Somehow I doubt that, though. The hallways are a mess of activities during lunch. Most people are heading to the cafeteria, but some are carrying lunchboxes, likely on their way to a friend's classroom, the courtyard, or the gym. My expectations go unmet. I had hoped for a fateful encounter in the hallway, but it seems that wasn't meant to be. Oh.
おとなしく食堂に行くか。
Guess I should go to the cafeteria. Half the time, Arihiko asks me to do something with him is just horrible, is just trouble. And the other half, it's pointless chatter. But at least it's never boring. Might be a good way to relax after school until I have to go back to the Tono estate. Just a random Mato or Makiri. You know what? Those might be the most likely to run into, is a Makiri somewhere. Arihiko disappeared after 4th period. He must be saving seats in the cafeteria. I never promised Arihiko I'd go to the cafeteria with him, but there's no real reason to ditch him either. I might as well spend lunch there today. Turns out there were only 2 choices. The cafeteria looks almost full. The line is so long it would probably take 10 minutes just to get your order taken. I gaze at the students waiting with their order receipts in hand as I make my way to the table.
それで有彦、特別ゲスト
So,
って
who's the special guest you were talking about? She hasn't shown up yet. We said we'd meet up in the cafeteria. Let me go see what's up. Arihiko hurries out of the cafeteria, leaving his curry udon behind. I've ordered shikata udon for myself. I hope he gets back before my noodles get soggy. Oh, good. Can't find her anywhere.
ゲストって3
Who
年
was
生
it
だった
anyways?
おお、
Third
面白い
year.
先輩だな。
I've been trying to get her to have lunch with me for a while. Finally got her to
ようやくランチご
agree.
一緒ツアーまで取り付けたんだよ。
Is it CL?
今日は他に約束ができた
Sounds like
とか
something
で
came up and she's been
走り
having to
回
run
ってるら
around
しい
like a bunch. It's probably CL.
忙しい人みたいだね。
Sounds like quite the busy person.
忙しいっていうか
She sure got a lot of irons in
全
the
自
fire.
動マッサージ機みた
I
い
don't
な
think she ever stops moving. Arihiko breaks apart his disposable chopsticks, looking dejected.
ま 今回は仕方ないな。
Well, too bad.
じゃ、いただきますと。
はい、いただきます。
Yeah, sounds good. We both dig into our udon. A lot of irons in the fire. What a strange way to describe someone. Suffice it to say that my curiosity has been piqued. But I'll ask him more about that later.
で、本当のところ
So, what's the
ど
deal?
うなんだよ。
だって何が？
Deal about what?
今日お前が
Why you
朝
were
か
in
ら
the
教
classroom
室
so
にいた
early?
理由。いちこさんが家にい
It
るっ
can't
て
be because
嘘
of
だろ。
Ichiko. I know she works during the day.
今昼間の仕事についてるじゃんか。
I ask Arihiko as I slurp my chikara udon. Ichiko is Arihiko's older sister who works full-time. She's a bit of a mystery, but she's always taking good care of us.
ああ、そっか。
Ah, you knew, huh?
バレるか。
Well,
殿、今日から実家に
you're
戻る
getting
のか
back to your old place today, right?
そうだけど。
Yeah. Did I tell you about that?
話したっけ？
してねえよ。
Nope.
俺
Heard
は
about
あ
it
れ
from my
聞い
sister.
ただけ。それでだな。
Just wanted to make sure you weren't, like, going all emo or something over it. Aw, that's sweet.
そうか。
And how did that turn out for you?
成果は？
早起きするほど面白い
Wasn't
見せ物
worth
じゃなかった
waking
ぜ
up early, that's for
が
damn
っか
sure.
りですよ、がっかり。
ご期待に添えず申し
Sorry
訳な
my
い。
struggles aren't entertaining enough for you.
有彦
You really have too much time on your hands, you know that?
暇人だからゴシップ好きなんで
That's
す
why I
よ。
love me some gossip.
どうのさ。
You've been with the
小学
Arimas
生の
ever
時分
since
からよそに
elementary,
預けられ
right?
てたんだろ。どんな理由かは知
It's
ら
been
ないが
7 years
それ
already.
から7年も
What's your old man thinking, bringing you back
な
after
んで今になっ
disowning
て
you so
感
long
動してた
ago?
息子を呼び戻すんだよ。お前さんの父親は。
感動されていたわ
I
けじゃ
wasn't
ない。
technically disowned.
なんと
I
な
was
く
just
屋敷
told
か
to
ら出る
leave
よ
the
うに言
manor
われ
for
ただ
no
け。
reason in particular.
遠野君君ね。
You know, man,
なんとなくで子
usually
供
a
を家か
family
ら追い
kicking
出す
their
家
own
庭
kid
があ
out
っ
of
た
their
ら
home for no
それは
reason
悲
would be
劇じゃ
so
なくて
sad it's
笑い
funny.
話ですよ。ただし、ほら一歩
But
手前。
that's so
寒
cold
す
I
ぎて
can't
笑え
even
ねえけ
laugh
どな。
about it. Arihiko laughs in an exaggerated manner. The way Arihiko never takes anything seriously is one of his best qualities. We stand a chill himbo. The truth is, my father and I had been on bad terms long before the car accident and hospitalization. The Tono family is a distinguished household dating back centuries, with customs very different to those of a regular family. My childhood memories are of an enormous old house and the oppressive, antiquated practices of the family within. The Tono family is wealthy, with shares in a wide variety of companies. My father, Makihisa Tono, wasn't much of a businessman, but the assets he inherited from my grandfather were more than enough to help his business make a fortune. A mansion from another era. A high-class lifestyle that valued history and decorum. Any child would have found life in that mansion unbearably dull. So when I was told to go live with the Arimas, I had no qualms about leaving my real family behind. I think it was the best outcome I could have asked for. I got along well with the Arimas. Keiko and Fumiomi treated me no differently than if I had been their child by birth. I'd always wanted to be part of a normal family, and living with the Arimas gave me that opportunity. I don't have any regrets there. With one exception, my sister Akiha. She was a year younger than me, and I left her behind at the Tono Manor. I wonder if Akiha resents me. I mean, why wouldn't she? I left her in that giant lonesome house, with no one for company but that pig-headed old man. It's not hard to imagine what Akiha thinks of me, of the brother who ran away from it all. Yeah,
確かに。
getting kicked out of my
な
house
ん
for
とな
no
くで
reason.
家から追い出されたら。
Not much to
そりゃ
do about
笑う
that
しか
butt
ない。
laugh,
だろ
right?
おまけに
And
二度と
considering
敷
that
居は
they
また
told
な
you
ってい
never
う
to set
決め
foot
台
in
詞
there
付きだ
again, that Sure sounds like you got disowned to me.
感動って言うんだ。今まで聞かなかったけどな。
Why did you get disowned anyway? I've never
なんで感
asked.
動されたんだ？
Seems like kind of a touchy topic. Yeah. I don't have a good answer for it myself. I think in the end, it may have just been a lot of unfortunate coincidences. I was unlucky.
まあ、話したくないならいい。
You were banished because you were clumsy. I'm sorry, Chad. I'm fucking on something tonight, I guess. Me and my bad jokes. That was a Star Wars Episode 1 reference, in case anybody didn't get it. Well, if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool. Adahiko picks up his bowl with both hands and drinks down the broth. Lunch always feels so short. I follow Adahiko's example and quickly down the rest of my food. School comes to an end for the day. Did you accidentally mix up some AFK instead of PP juice? No, I keep meaning to order AFK with my next G-subs order, but I keep putting it off because I can't decide what else I want. I like to buy in bulk, you know. School comes to an end for the day. I look out over the schoolyard from my seat, unable to will myself back to the mansion. The classroom, dyed a red-orange by the sunset, looks like a watercolor painting. It makes my eyes throb a little. I was thinking about trying to get the blue label for Pyro Power, and also picking up some Sakura Splash, because that also got a restock. But I did order in advance for Sakura Splash, so I'll be getting some sometime between this month and next month, I think. So, I don't know. I can't decide. There's something about vermilion that's unsettling. As the hue pierces my eyes, I'm hit with a wave of nausea. I guess I have trouble with anything that reminds me of blood. The reality is, I've grown weak to it. "7 years ago, I was on the verge of death. I was caught in a terrible accident, a building collapse. My wounds were so severe that most people thought I didn't have a chance. Luckily for me, all of my injuries were focused in one place, and my doctors were able to get to me fast. It almost feels like it happened to someone else, thinking back like this. There's a lot I still don't know about it. Something struck my chest with such force that it impaled me. I passed out immediately. Like a machine that had its plug pulled. All I remember after that is the pain and the cold. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. The scar still remains on my chest. From what they told me, I not only hit my back hard, but a piece of glass pierced my chest as well. That's how I got the burn-like scars on my chest and back. When I was finally able to look at the wounds, I almost passed out from the sight of them. Ever since then, I've been prone to bouts of anemia. I've caused a lot of trouble for the people around me, collapsing suddenly all the time. I assume that's why Maki Hisatono, my father, decided that I wasn't healthy enough to be his heir. My chest. I hold down the urge to vomit. I breathe deeply, waiting for the needling in my eyes to subside. Needling, that's a good word for it. A mark of death hidden under my school uniform. I've never been able to see the lines ever since the accident. I've been able to see the lines ever since the accident. It's only thanks to the glasses Master gave me that I've kept some semblance of a normal life. Without them, I'm sure I would have gone mad a long time ago. Keiko was worried that the Tonos weren't normal when we said goodbye this morning. But there was no need. The reason being, I'm hardly normal myself. I push my glasses back up the bridge of my nose and grab my bag. I can't stay in the classroom forever. Well, Chet, what do you think? Should we stall or bite the bullet? One vote for the manor. I'm leaning that way myself. No sense in hanging around. Going once. Going twice. Away we go. My path home is different from the one I took yesterday. Mind your manners. It leads me from a compact middle-class neighborhood to one where large, expensive houses line the street. Every step brings me closer to the Tono mansion. The area isn't completely unfamiliar to me. It may have been 7 years ago, but I have vague memories of this place from when I was 10. It's a strange feeling. This path feels both new and familiar at the same time. I climb up a long hill. The rows of houses disappear from view. The smell of greenery tickles my nostrils. I may be in the middle of the city, but this place feels anything but modern. Almost everything from here on is owned by the Tono estate. The mansion I lived in until the age of 10. The only things left for me there are old memories and relatives I never got along with. Though now, only one close relative remains in the mansion. Makihisa Tono, the father that hated me so much, passed away the other day. My mother died from an illness the year Akiha was born. So the only Tonos left will be my sister and I. Small grammar moment. Because Shiki and his sister are the objects. No, wait. Hold on. Yeah, they're the objects of the sentence. So it would be my sister and me, not my sister and I. You could rearrange the sentence to say, my sister and I will be the only Tonos left. Then that would be accurate, but... Anyway, Nurge. As the eldest son, I would have taken over as the head of the family, but I no longer have that right. Being the Tono heir means a restrictive and cloistered childhood. I don't know how many times I was told off by my father for trying to escape all that. That's why when I was left defective after my accident, he took the opportunity to cast me out. I'm sure he felt that even though I was the eldest, he couldn't leave the family in the hands of someone who could keel over dead at any minute. To my father's surprise, I recovered, but Akiha had already been chosen as the next heir to the Tono family. Akiha had been raised as the prized daughter of the Tono, but after my accident, she had to endure a harsher education befitting her new station. We played together in the gardens until I was 10, but I haven't seen her once since then. And now it's been 7 years. I wonder how the Tono Mansion has changed. I won't have to wonder for much longer. If anything should come to mind now, it would be... taking the reins on this one. My sister Akiha visited me a number of times when I first moved in with the Arimas. I wasn't able to see her because of my daily hospital visits. And once she started staying in the dorms at a girls' academy, we only ever exchanged a few letters. Unlike Akiha, I had been expelled from the family. That's why I was able to live as freely as I have. After 7 years, my sister and I must have very little in common. Honestly, I don't really have any desire to go back to the Tono Mansion. Except Akiha is there. When we were children, Akiha was a quiet girl who always looked meek and timid. She'd follow me around wherever I went. With her long black hair and fine dresses, she looked like a princess out of a fairy tale, locked in some tower and awaiting rescue. I know I have no right to just slip back into being her big brother now, but I've worried about Akiha these 7 years. She was the first thing I thought of when I learned of Makihisa's death. All alone in that massive house after her father's death. More than anything, I felt responsible because my carefree lifestyle had forced the burden of the Tono family onto her. I think the reason I agreed to return to the manor was to make amends for leaving Akiha behind. The main gate is shut tight. I remember thinking it was big when I was a child, but after living in a normal house, I realized just how massive this place is. The mansion sits on a high hill overlooking the city, giving the Tonos a view of all they control. The grounds alone are bigger than my high school, include the forest behind the manor, and it's easily triple the size. The sound work is really well done for this portion. For a second, I thought that was coming from outside of my house. I thought the wind was blowing in from the window. I was like, what the hell? Surrounding the perimeter is a wall of trees and a long fence preventing outsiders from peering inside. The entrance at the main gate is closed, turning away those who would seek entry. Next to the massive gate for cars to pass through, there's a smaller door for people. I hesitate for a moment before pressing the call button. It doesn't make any noise as I push it. After a few seconds, the lock opens with a welcoming click.
ここのドア全自動になっ
The
たん
door
だ
is automatic now.
昔は守衛
I
さんがい
remember
た
a
んだけど
guard
な
used to stand here. Technology. I open the heavy door and pass through the stone gate. The door gives a satisfying clunk behind me, locking itself again. I make my way along a gently sloped path deeper into the grounds. The walkway, surrounded by tall trees, feels almost like a tunnel. It stretches 40 meters east, then turns at a 90-degree angle to the north. Memories flood back with each step I take. I know this path. I've walked it many times. Just a little further. I reach the corner. My feet guide me towards the north, the rest of my body following closely behind. Then on the left... the Tono Mansion, its great white walls standing at attention. A sigh escapes my lips in combination of wonder and resignation. The mansion looks just like it did back then. According to my father, the building has been the same since my grandfather inherited it from his grandfather, though it was repaired once after the war. For the past few centuries, it's been a seat of power passed from one generation to the next. This is a holy ground for Makihisa. No, for all those related to the Tonos. I remember seeing different adults vying for a piece of it, currying favor with the old man while staying at the mansion for the yearly family meeting. They were all extremely successful business people with their own fancy homes, but for whatever reason they were obsessed with the Tono manor. Getting to live there must have been a point of pride for them. It all sounds ridiculous. It's just a big fancy house to me. I'd never been comfortable with being privileged. Guess it's time. There's no going back now. A small doorbell is placed next to the comparatively huge double doors. I shake off my nerves and ring the bell. There is no familiar ding-dong. Ding-dongs and Chet. The heavy silence continues for a few seconds. The sound of hurried footsteps comes from the other side of the doors. We have been eagerly awaiting your return. The doors swing open with surprising ease for their size. Oh. Nice. I narrow my eyes at the waning afternoon light streaming through the windows. I had meant to prepare myself for the sight, but my breath catches as I look over the gigantic lobby. What astonishingly beautiful architecture. It feels like I've traveled to a different country in a different time. The look of the mansion is so old-fashioned, even the very air itself seems foreign. This is way bigger and fancier than the Kuonji mansion. Just gonna put that out there. Even so, the lobby still feels familiar. I would have referred to it as a foyer, but sure. Hello, who's this? I feel like Nero should be stood at the top of the stairs. It would fit, wouldn't it? Wouldn't look out of place. I find myself frozen as the girl who answered the door stands before me, dressed in traditional attire. Thank goodness. It's so late I was worried that you had gotten lost. I was going to go looking for you if you hadn't arrived by sunset. The girl, wearing an apron over her kimono, smiles brightly. Oh, I find myself speechless at this unexpected welcome. I was expecting the stony-faced man who served as my father's assistant and butler to be the one to greet me. The girl tilts her head, likely wondering at the reason for my hesitance. You are Master Shiki, aren't you? Yes, though you really don't have to call me Master. I knew it. Please don't scare me like that. I thought I had messed up again. Is she the clumsy maid? The girl wags her finger like a mother admonishing her child. She seems genuinely upset with me for having worried her. Yet even so, her smile never fades, nor does the warmth emanating from her. Best girl so far out of the two we've met. I mean, that's not exactly steep competition. An apron draped over her kimono. Oh no, well there was what's her name at school? I guess she's number 2. an apron draped over her kimono, coming to greet me and calling me master. That must mean...
すみません。
Excuse me,
もしかし
are
て
you a
こ
housekeeper
こ
here
の
by
お
any
手伝い
chance?
さんですか？
The girl answers my question with a smile.
さあ、お疲れでしょ。
I'm sure you're tired.
遠慮せずに上がって
Please
くだ
come
さい
in.
な。
Feel free to have a rest in the
アキラ
parlor
様の
until
お手
Mr.
すきになるま
Sakiya
で
is available.
今でおくつろぎください。
The girl motions for me to follow her and begins walking. We move towards the hallway on the east side of the lobby, next to the giant staircase. I seem to remember that the parlor is just inside the hallway. I follow her quietly, call out to her and ask her name, or get the urge to explore the mansion. This one's up to you guys. I sow the seeds of chaos and reap the rewards. 3. I guess I probably should have seen that coming. Oh, we've got conflict. Anybody want to split the difference? 1 vote for 3, 1 vote for 2. Awfully quiet in here. You don't have to participate if you just along for the ride. That's okay too. If I were Shiki in this situation, I'd be inclined to go with number 2. Being an outside observer, I'm kind of inclined to go with number 3. Maybe we just split the difference and nobody's happy. I'm picking number 2. I'm in charge of this stream. I'm steering this ship. I decide to call out to her and ask her name. I can't just be calling her Miss Housekeeper the whole time.
すみません。
Excuse
名
me,
前を聞いていい
can
で
I
す
ask
か？
your name?
来たばかりで
Sorry,
今の
I'm
うち
still
の
just
事情
trying
が
to get
よ
my
くつかめ
bearings.
なくて。
I call out to her. The kimono-clad girl looks at me surprised.
琥珀と申します。
My name is
こ
Koha.
のお屋敷で遠
I
田
act
家
as
のご
Mr.
当主様
Sakiya's
に仕
personal
えさせてい
attendant.
ただいております。
The girl, Kohaku, gives a slight bow and a smile. It's a lovely kind of gesture, somehow evocative of a bud blooming into a flower. And he said she looks surprised. Maybe we know her from childhood but don't remember. The girl leads me to the parlor. The parlor looks so much fancier compared to what I remember. It's like seeing it for the first time. Either I'm just too used to how things were for the Arima family, or they've made this room even more extravagant since I was last here. Regardless, this place feels like someone else's home. I look around the parlor restlessly.
借りてき
You
た
look like a
猫ちゃん
stray
みたい
kitty.
ですね。
I am a wolf, thank you very much, woman! Madam? I forgot her name already. Kohaku? Is Kohaku like Kohaku River?
お気持ちはわかりますが、
Just chock
ど
full
う
of
ぞ楽に
references.
してくださいまし。ここは
Catboy,
四季様の
cowboy,
家なんです
frick
か
off.
ら。
I am not. I know how you feel, but please try to sit back and relax. This is your home, after all.
そうですよね。
Yeah, you're right. Flustered, I lower myself onto the sofa. It's pathetic how overwhelmed I've become from simply returning home. The kimono-clad girl makes her way over to a cart in the corner of the room and pours a cup of tea from it. She places the cup on a tray and carries it over to me.
どうぞ。そちゃです
Here,
が。
have some tea.
ありが
Thanks.
とうございます。
Is this a Western style cup or an Eastern styled cup? I can't help but feel a sense of embarrassment, being waited on with such a warm smile. I think that's just who I am, rather than something that comes from living with a more modest family.
秋葉様に声をおかけしてき
I'll
ま
go
すの
check on
で、
Mr.
しば
Sakiha.
らくお待ち
So
ください。
please wait here.
そうですね。
Actually, it should take about 10 minutes.
10分ほど
So
かかります
please
か
feel
ら、
free to have a look around
そ
the
れま
mansion
で
if you'd
お屋
like.
敷の中を見て回るのもよろしいかと。
Probably Eastern. I was betting on Western just based on the style of the mansion. Most likely herbal. I don't know, maybe we'll never know.
いいんですか？勝手に歩き回って。
Is it really okay for me to just wander around?
何をおっしゃいますやら。
This is your house too,
こ
you
こ
know.
は四季様のお家で
Please,
す。
by all means.
勝手も何もございません。あ、いえ。でも、
Though you won't be able to go up to the
二階
second
はちょっといけませんね。
floor while Mr.
秋
Sakiha
葉
is
様
there.
がいらっしゃいますから。1階でしたらお好き
The
に
first
ご
floor
観
should
覧
be
くだ
fine,
さい。
however.
四季様にとっては
I'm sure you
7
must
年
be
ぶり
over
の
the
お屋
moon
敷で
to
す
be
も
back
の。
after 7 whole
懐
years.
かしくて胸が弾んでいますでしょ。
She smiles mischievously. Please excuse me. Kohaku gives a slight bow and leaves the room.
参ったな。
Well, now what? My muttering echoes sadly through the extravagant parlor. Do I stay here sitting nervously? Or do I take a look around the mansion? I think I'll stretch my legs. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, huh? Maybe I'll take a look around if I have that much time. I should have time to look around the east wing, at the very least.
ここにいても。
Need to walk off some of these nerves anyway. Big stretch, big stretch. Everybody in chat stretch. I have been sitting kind of still for a while. Oh. Need to stretch. I went for a nice long walk today. Oh, my whole spine just popped. Okay, that's good. I needed that stretch. I need to walk off some of these nerves anyway. I rise up from the couch. I think I remember the rec room had a billiards table and a dartboard in the west wing. Back cracked like a rice cake. Did you guys hear that? I don't know if the mic could have picked that up. If you rearrange the letters in spine, you get pines. That's true. He's right.
おや、戻る前に立ち寄ったのだが、先客がいたとはね。
I thought I'd stop by before I returned, but I didn't realize they were expecting a guest. A voice calls out the moment I step into the lobby. Heard one crack. That's funny. I turn to the giant staircase to find... What? In case you forgot, this is a fucking Type Moon visual novel. That bullshit like this should be par for the course. But man, we had a good run. We had a good... We had like a good 2.5 hours where nothing like incredibly weird happened, and then fucking this guy shows up. Fucking SCP-106 looking ass. I think I know that one. That's the Rust guy, the old man, right? With the pocket dimension. Radical Larry! Oh my god, yeah, Radical Larry. Bro, what the fuck? What a deep cut, bro. Fucking Radical Larry. Anyway, let me try and regain some semblance of composure here. I turn to the giant staircase to find a strange man dressed head to toe in black. Some of that is purple, but I'll let it slide.
こんにちは、シキ。
Hello there, Shiki. Yorokobe
よ
Shonen.
うこそ。
Welcome to the Tono Mansion.
というのは間違いだ。
Oh, but I suppose in
君の
your
場合、
situation, I
お
should
帰
be
りと
welcoming
い
you
うのが
home.
正しかった。
The man, who based on his voice I'd assume is in his 30s, descends the stairs calmly. I hope I sound like that in my 30s. God damn. There is not a trace of color on him. Again, there's a little bit of purple. His entire body is wrapped in black bandages. He looks like he stepped straight out of a mystery novel. Now that's a good take.
あなたは
And you are? Just a few more years. What would you know about that? I'm not a hag yet. Shut up. What's the wait? Not a hag. A hag. I'd be a geezer. Is that right? That's our lot. Just a few more years, he said, motherfucker. I will neither confirm nor deny. And you are? Do you not remember me? Ah, I see. It is I, Goto Saiki. We met a number of times when you were a child, but I'm not surprised you don't recognize me. It's a face that's hard to forget. Psychic. I know what that is vaguely. Psyche. Was there a branch family with that name? More importantly, this man... It's alright. I'm quite used to strange looks. I was burned in an accident. I have a difficult time going outside without these bandages. The sun is harsh on my skin, you see. Akiha finds my presence disturbing as well, though it is understandable. She is partially responsible, after all. What does he mean by that? Goto Saiki gives a self-deprecating laugh as he lifts his left hand up to shade his eyes. Lifts his leg. The glare from the skylight must be too bright for him. I have to say, I am surprised you had the audacity to come back here. Huh? Why, your circumstances. Not only did you fail to follow Makihisa's orders to stay in the mansion, you ended up injuring yourself in that foolish accident. They pulled Joshua Graham from New Vegas. Oh, what the fuck? She lit him on fire for funsies. That, well, it's not. I'm sure that's not entirely out of the question. A failure. Yes, that's what you are. You ignore all obligations, waste every investment your parents put into you, and still dare to come back here to play big brother to Akiha. I would have lit him on fire for funsies too. Are you not ashamed of yourself? I resist the urge to confront him. The contempt in Goto's eyes is obvious, but there's no reason to escalate things further. Besides, he isn't wrong. Nothing to say for yourself.
ないですよ。
No,
義務を放
what
棄
you
し
say
た
is
のは
true.
事実ですか。
I ignored my obligations.
でも
But don't you feel any shame spouting off
家
about our
族の
family
話
like
に
that?
そんな言葉を使うあなたこそ恥ずかしいとは思わないんですか。
An average mage family setting people on fire is a normal Tuesday. True, although we haven't explicitly seen that they're a mage family, only that Shiki has mystic eyes, which heavily implies that they're a mage family. And, you know, the affluence heavily implies that they're a mage family. And this guy's whole getup heavily implies that they're a mage family. You know what? I'm starting to think that they're a mage family. I've chosen my words as such precisely because this is your family. Education is nothing more than an investment into the future of
生の
one's
人間は
family.
ともかく選
There
ばれ
is
た
no
血
such
筋
thing as
尊い
freedom
家系
for
において
those of
個
noble
人の
blood.
自由は存在しない。自
Freedom.
由いや
No,
自意識と
perhaps
言
we
って
should
も
call it self-awareness.
それらは成人した
One
後
only has the right
一
to it
族を
after
背負え
learning
る
to
ように
live
なって
for the
初めて
family.
獲得できる権利のはずだ。君は遠野の子であ
You
り
never understood your
それを理
place.
解しているか。
Compared to Akiha, you are nothing.
秋葉とは似ても似
Though
つかぬ
perhaps I
三
should
流だ
commend。you, as few would have the gall to
一
show
度
their
地に落ち
face
てい
here
ながら帰っ
again.
てくる高顔さだけは一流と言えなくもないよね。
Wow, I hate this guy.
そう睨むな
Don't look so
四季君
angry, Shiki.
今
I'm
の
merely
はた
stating
だ
an
の
objective
客観論
truth.
だよ。
I
私個
assure
人
you,
の
it's
評価
nothing
じゃない
personal.
誤解させてしまっ
I
たよう
seem
だ
to
が
have confused you.
私は
I'm not
君の帰
against
還に
your
反対はし
return.
ていない。
If anything, I'm
どち
for
らかと
it.
いうと賛成派だし、
Besides,
そも
it's
そ
a
も
decision
遠
by
野
the
家
head
現
of
当
the
主の決
family.
定でもあ
An
る。
outsider like me has no right
そ
to
の者で
complain.
ある私に
Isn't that right?
どうこう言えることでもないだろう。
An outsider? He isn't part of a branch family?
佐伯家は祖父の代から遠
The
野家とは
Saiki and
対等
Tono
の付
houses
き合い
have
を
been
して
of
いる。
equal standing since my
現代風
grandfather's
に言う
time.
とビジネスパートナーというやつだ。
Excuse me. In modern terms, I suppose you could call us business partners.
今日は商談に来ただけでね。
We finished discussing new
長引いてしまっ
arrangements
たが、
today.
色々
The
い返
meeting
事をも
lasted
らえ
longer
て
than
上機嫌で
expected,
帰
but
る。
it went well, so I was about to go home in a fabulous mood.
ああ。
But I won't
この
darken
陰
your
気な
homecoming
姿
with
で
my
せっ
presence.
かくの桔梗に
Please
水を差
excuse
すの
me.
も忍びない。
A little late for that, asshole.
この辺りで失礼するよ。
The bandaged man, Goto Saiki, passes by me and walks towards the entrance. All the while, his lips curled in a sarcastic smile. I bite my lip thinking of the word Saiki used. Failure. He's right. The word describes my place in this house perfectly. Regardless, I should go back to the parlor and calm down. I'll walk around later. I don't want to ruin my first meeting with Akiha in 7 years by feeling like this. Excuse me. The girl returns exactly 10 minutes later. Is something the matter, Mr. Shiki?
何かお気に障ることでもありました？
She must be able to tell that Goto Saiki's words have affected me.
いえ、なんでもないんです。
No, it's nothing.
ちょっと気を
Just
されてい
feeling a
る
little
だけで。
overwhelmed.
あ、お
Thank
茶
you for the tea.
あり
It
が
was
とうございまし
delicious.
た。美味しかったです。
Did we even drink any of it?
お上手ですね。
Well, aren't you a flatterer?
こちらこそ
Thank you
お
for
褒
the
めいた
kind
だきあ
words.
りがとうございます。
She smiles bashfully, brightening the room.
と、それよ
Anyway,
り本題で
thank
す
you for
ね。
waiting.
お待たせいたしました。
Mistress Akiha
秋葉
has
様のご
concluded
用
her
事がお
business,
済みになり
so
ましたの
please
で、
come with me to
執
her
務室
office.
においでください。
Here we go. We ascend the large staircase in the lobby to the second floor. Akiha's office, the heart of the Tono family. Big sip. I was never allowed to enter Makihisa's office when I was a child. A room occupied by each generation's family head. And that room now belongs to my sister. Wonder if Shiki feels any kind of bitterness for that. In stark contrast to the bright white of the parlor, the office is colored a dark red. Luxurious curtains line the windows. A deep crimson carpet, immaculately kept, is placed on the floor. The refined air to the room is thick with a sense of history. This is where Makihisa Tono once presided as head of the family, and Now, it's where Akiha will carry that burden forward.
四季様をお連れしました。
Master Shiki, mistress.
ご苦労様。
Thank you.
仕事に戻
You
って
may
いいわよ
return to your
琥珀
duties, Kohaku.
はい。そ
Understood.
れでは失礼い
Please
たしま
excuse
す
me.
ね。
Kohaku gives me a slight bow before exiting the room. The only people left in the room are myself and two girls I don't recognize. Oh, this is her. This is the rin-coated girl. Oh no, she's the little sister. Oh no. My life is over.
お久しぶりですね、兄さん。
It has been a while, hasn't it? The dark-haired girl casts a dignified gaze at me as she speaks. Gulp. My head is blank. The gears in my brain have stopped turning. All I manage to do is nod and agree. Agreeing 1-to-1. Somehow I feel like she's gonna be even colder. Like, extra soon. Way less dere. I'm pathetic. Though I suppose it may be understandable. She looks so different from how I remember her.
兄さん。
Shiki,
何かこ
is
の部
there
屋
something
に
you
不審
find
な点でも
disagreeable here? The black-haired girl narrows her eyes, as if she were measuring up a stranger.
いや、
No. Nothing coherent escapes my lips as my mind struggles to catch up. I'm still trying to figure out if she's really my sister or not, even though she's clearly already accepted who I am. It seems her condition is as poor as they say.
本当
Would
に
you like
体
to
調が
rest
不
before I
安定
speak
なん
with
で
you?
すね。
Though it would be a
時間
terrible
は無
waste
駄
of
にし
time.
ますが、私からの話の前にお休みになられますか？
She frowns. Her words seem to have more bite to them than I expected.
いや、
No, I
体
feel
調は
fine.
そう悪くない。
I was just surprised
秋
at
葉
how
が
much
あ
you've
んまりにも
changed.
変わってたんで、びっくりしたというか。
Of course
7
I've
年も
changed.
経てば変わります。
It has been 7
ただ
years
で
and
さ
I
え
was only
私
a
たちは
child
成長
then.
期だったんですか？
You, on the other hand, are
それ
just
と
as I
も
remember you, my
い
dear
つまで
brother.
も以前のままだと思っていたんですか？兄さんは。
いや、
Uh,
それは。
I stammer, crushed under the weight of her quiet ferocity. I feel bad. After all this time, it hadn't even occurred to me to think about how Akiha may have changed. I'd only thought of her as the little girl who used to follow me around. The last 7 years haven't only been hard on me. I'm an idiot for it to only sink in now that she's right here in front of me.
面目ない。
I'm
正
sorry.
直考えが足りなかった。
Honestly, I hadn't thought things through.
でも、
Even
そ
so,
れにしたって秋葉
you
は
really
変わっ
have
たよ。
changed a lot, Akiha.
昔より格段に
You've
美人
become
に
even
なっ
more
た。
beautiful. Clearer words finally filter their way out.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
兄さんは以前とあまり
You
変わっ
look
てはい
much
ま
the
せ
same as you
ん。
did. Akiha speaks coldly, her eyes closed. Well, I had expected something like this. She must resent me for leaving the family. A silence falls over us as we take a second to study one another. I was unable to say anything worthwhile to a sister I hadn't seen in 7 years. Akiha stares at me with a guarded expression, inspecting me as if I were some intruder, though to her I very well may be.
まあいいでしょう。
Well then,
体調が良いのなら
if you're
話を
feeling
済
up
ませ
to
ま
it,
しょ
then
う。
let's get this over with, shall we?
今回の移転について
Have you heard the details
詳しい事
behind
情
the
は聞い
reason
てい
for
ま
your
すか？
move?
いや、詳しい事情は何も。
All I heard
いい
was
か
that
ら
I
屋
was to
敷
come
に
back
帰
here.
ってこいって話だけだ。
I learned of our father's death from
親
the
父が亡くなっ
newspaper.
たことは新聞で知ったけど。
It's not at all surprising that the death of someone presiding over a massive conglomerate would make the business section of most papers. We live in a world where a son, disowned by his family, learns of his own father's death on the internet. The news reached me after his funeral had already happened, like I was a complete stranger.
申し訳ありません。
My apologies.
お父様の
I
こ
should
とを
have
兄
sent
さん
word
に
of his
知らせな
passing.
かったのはこちらの失策でした。
Akiha lowers her head quietly. Her hair is beautiful, but that's not important right now. My wording was the problem here.
そこは気にしなくていいん
You
じゃ
don't
ない
have
か
to
な。
feel bad about that.
俺が言ったって死人が言っ
It's
た
not
わ
like
け
me
でもない
going
ん
would
だ。
have brought him back to life.
逆に
Besides,
親
you
戚筋に
saved
合
me
わな
from
く
having
て
to
助
deal
かっ
with
た
our relatives. I can't imagine they would be kind to me.
そうですか。
Is that so?
そう言っていただけると
It puts me
私
at
も
ease
少
to
し
hear
は
you
気
say
が
that.
楽になります。
I'm lucky to have such an understanding sister. A funeral is an occasion that offers closure to those unable to accept the passing of a loved one. My relationship with my father ended a long time ago. I have no obligation or desire to attend something like that for Makihisa. I haven't once thought about how I'd say goodbye to him.
でもそうなる
But
と
if that's
誰
the
が俺
case,
を呼
then
び戻した
who
んだ。
called me back?
親父の遺言って
There's no
わけ
way
で
it
も
was
ない
in
んだ
his
ろ
will, right?
兄さんをこちらに呼び戻したのは
I was the one who called you
私の
back
決
here.
定です。いつまでも遠野の長男が
We can't have the
有馬の
eldest
家
son
に
of the
預けら
Tono
れてい
family
る
stay
のはお
with
か
the
しいで
Animas
しょう。
forever, now can we?
どんな欠陥があろう
Regardless
と
of your defect, you are
あなた
still a
は遠野
Tono.
の人間なのですから。
Ouch. I accept the word defect without a second thought. My father used it often. It doesn't bother me anymore, and if anything, she's right.
お父様、
Now that father...
遠野牧久が亡くなった以上、
Now that Makihisa
Tono
Tono is dead, you and I are all that remain of the Tono family.
血は守られなければいけま
Our
せん。
blood must be protected.
お父様がどのような考えで
I do not know why
兄さんを
father
有馬の
decided
家
to
に
have
預
you
けた
stay
か
with
は
the
知り
Arima
ませんが
family, but he is no longer
そ
with
のお
us.
父様もすでに他界なさった身。理由が定かではない
Without
以
clear
上
reason, it is only
当の
natural
指揮を
that you
こ
would
ち
be
らで監
placed
督
under the
するのは
supervision of your
家
direct
族として
family.
当然のことでしょ。
Akiha's words are quiet but firm, as if she were shutting down any possible objections I could have before I even raised them.
監督する。
Supervision, huh?
じゃ
What would
あ
have happened if I had
も
refused to
し
come
遠野の
back?
家に帰ることを拒否してたらどうなっていたんだ。
そんな自由はあ
You
なた
do
には
not
あり
have
ま
that
せん。
kind of freedom,
有馬の
nor does
人
the
間に
Arima
も
family
本
have
家
any
から
right
の
to
決定
deny
を
the
拒
main
む権
family.
利はありません。私も兄さんも
Both you and I were raised
遠
by
野
the
家に
Tono
育てら
family.
れたものです。
You have a duty to this family until you come of age, at the very least.
社会的に自立するまではあなたは遠野家に隷属する義務があります。
Makihisa used to say the same thing. Parents are responsible for raising their children and preparing them for society. Just like any good business, a family can't be sending defective products to market. It would only serve to harm their good name and degrade society as a whole. An individual unwilling to remove such a product has no right to be a parent, and a child unable to bear the responsibilities given unto them has no place in the family. Makihisa Tono spoke of this many times to Akiha and I, almost like it was more for him than us.
親父の口癖だったな。
Dad did always say that,
じゃあ
so
俺
that's
を
why you
呼び
had me
戻し
come
た
back
理由
then.
は単に
To recall, she cuts me off without any consideration for her poor brother disowned by his narrow-minded father.
どのような経緯
You
で
are
あ
the
れ
eldest son of
あ
the
なた
Tono
が遠野
family,
家の長男だからで
regardless
す。
of the circumstances.
それ以外に
Do I need
理由
any
がある
other
とでも
reason? Just another day of cleaning up loose ends for the head of the Tono family.
理解していただけて
I'm
何よ
glad
り
you
です。
understand.
言うまでもありませんが、
I'm sure I don't need to point it
私の
out,
発言は
but as the head of the
遠野
family,
家
my
当主の
word
も
is
のとして
final.
受け取ってください。
You may be my older brother, but your
ご席
position
上
is
ではあな
beneath
たは
mine in this
私の
house.
兄ですが、この家における上下関係はまた別のものです。
Is it cold in here or is it just me?
兄さん、私はあなたを
I
兄として
respect
尊
you
重
as
し
my
ます
brother, but
が、
as the master of this
同
house,
時に
I must also
こ
treat
の
you
家を
as an
預かる
asset.
者として、あなたを遠野家の財産として扱います。7年前のことを
I would ask
忘
that you
れて、
forget the past
私
7
たちは
years and obey the
当
will
主
of the
とその
family.
家人であることを肝に銘じてくださいますよう。
Akiha speaks without emotion. This is a command from the head of the house, rather than my sibling. It carries an air of cold detachment. I guess it wasn't just me. But
うん、それはそれでわかりやすい。
that makes it easy to understand.
はっきり言ってくれた方が俺も
Thank
す
you
っ
for
きり
being
する。
clear. This is the natural way of things. There is no reason for me to be offended.
私の言葉を理解し
Do
てい
you
ますか？
truly understand what I'm saying?
私は兄さ
I
ん
do
より
believe
上
I
の
just told
立
you
場
that my
で、
position
それを
outranks
承
yours in
諾し
this
ろと
house.
一方的に宣言したつもりですけど。
わかってるし
I know,
文句はないよ。
and I have no problem with that.
だってどう
It's
考
only
えても
fair,
この
given the
扱いになるだろう
circumstances.
今の俺は。むしろ
If anything,
7
I
年間好き
appreciate
放
that
題
you
に生
still
きてきた
consider
俺
me
に
your brother after all,
妹と
after
し
I
てき
avoided
ちん
all my
と礼を取ってくれ
responsibilities
る
for
アキラに
years.
感謝してる。けどアキハの
I'm
考えは
surprised you
別に
managed
し
to
て
convince our relatives,
親
though.
戚の連中がよ
Weren't
く納
they the
得した
ones who
な。
wanted to send me away in the first place?
俺を有馬の家に預けろって言い出したの確か親戚の人たちじゃなかったっけ？
そうですね。
Indeed.
です
But I
が
run this family
今
now.
の当主は私
Any
です。
opposition was quashed
親戚
immediately.
の方たちの進言は全て却下しました。この件に関して意見を
I
挟
also
むと
warned
いう
them
こと
that
は、
any questioning of my
私に
decision would be seen as a
ひいて
direct
は遠野に
challenge to
逆
my
らうことだ
authority.
と明言しましたから。
I'm stunned. Even Maki Hisa wasn't able to ignore our relatives, but Akiha was able to persuade them? No, if anything, she probably argued them into submission. I see. Akiha has grown in more ways than one, and as her brother, it's a little terrifying.
兄さん、
Shiki,
ぼーっとしたお顔を
You
され
seem
ています
distracted.
が、
is something the
何
matter?
か。
ああいや
I'm
感心
just
したと
blown
いう
away.
か感動した
They
とい
really
うか
recognize you as the head of the family.
本当に当主として認められたんだな。
当たり前です。
Of course they do.
そうでもなけれ
I
ば、
wouldn't have been able to bring
兄
you
さん
back
も呼
here
び
if they
戻せない
didn't.
でしょう。話を戻します。
Let us return to the topic at hand.
兄さんには、
Starting
今日から
today,
ここで
you will
暮ら
live
し
in
て
the
いただき
mansion,
ますが、
which means you will
こ
follow
こ
our
にはここ
rules.
の規律があります
I。hope you are prepared to act with more
今まで
suitable
のような
manners
無作
from
法
now
は
on.
避けていただきますから、そのつもりで。
お
I
そりゃ
don't
無理
think
だよ、
that's
アキハ。
possible, Akiha.
今さら俺がお
It's
行
too
儀いい
late
人
for
間
me to
に
go
戻れ
back
る
to
わけ
acting
な
all
いし
proper now.
戻ろうって気もないんだから。
いえ、
You
何
will
があろ
find
う
a
と
way.
戻っていただきます。子供じゃあるまい
Heel
し、
click.
試す前か
You
ら
are
泣き
not a
言は結
child.
構
I
で
will
す。
not listen to you complain before you even make an attempt.
それとも、
Unless
私にできた
you
こと
think you
が
are
兄さん
incapable
に
of
はで
something
き
that
な
I
いとおっしゃるので
accomplished.
すか？
Nah, that was a little cheeky. Akiha shoots a frigid glare in my direction. It pierces through me like I'm an icicle. It pierces through me like an icicle. There's no doubt about it. 7 years' worth of resentment is finally being blasted my way now.
わかった。
I understand.
できるだけ努力はして
I'll
み
do
る
what I can.
努力はする
Do what you can.
ですか。
Quite the ambiguous
都合の
answer.
いい返答ですね。努力をすれば誰であれ
Do you
報
think you'll
われ
be
ると
rewarded for trying?
私が
What
求
I'm
めている
asking
のは
for
結
is
果だけですので
results.
そのつもりで。
I'm unable to form any kind of response in the face of her ruthless assault.
いいです。
Very
兄さん
well.
は今まで
You have
自
lived
由気
freely
まま
for a
に暮らしてい
significant
たん
period
で
of
すから、
time.
す
I
ぐに
cannot
生
expect
活
you
を
to
正せ
change
と
your
は言いませ
lifestyle
ん。
immediately.
最短で1週間、
I will grant you a
最長で
week.
1ヶ月の猶
You
予
will
を
do
差し上げ
everything
ま
you
すの
can
で、
to mend your ways
ど
in
うぞ
that
死ぬ
time.
気で努力してください。
At the very least, I expect your old habits gone by the month's end. I don't think I'll be getting any more time after that. This must be how Akiha makes compromises.
ですね、
I assure
そ
you,
こまで無
this
茶な
isn't
話ではあ
asking
りません
much.
から。現在、
You
屋
and I
敷
are the
には
only
兄さん
ones
と
living
私
in
し
this
か住んで
mansion.
いません。うるさ型の
I
親戚
assumed
筋
you
が
would be
い
able
て
to
は、
relax more
兄さん
without
も
the
落ち着けないで
nitpicking
しょ
of
う
our
し、
relatives.
私も煩わしい
I
の
found
で
them meddlesome enough
人
as it
払いを
was,
済ませ
so
ま
I
した。
had them leave. Wait a second. Had them leave? Then
お前、
you
屋敷に
kicked
居
all our
候してる
relatives
親
out of the
戚
mansion?
全員追い出したのか。
I didn't even realize that was possible.
どうぞお
Yes,
気になさらず。
please pay it no mind.
家と財産を失い
They
な
were
がら
little more than
何の努
parasites
力も
leeching
せ
off
ず
the good
お
graces
父
of
様
our
の温
father.
情にすがっていただけの
I
方
would
々
have
で
had
す。
them leave sooner or later.
遅かれ早かれ屋敷から出て行ってもらう予定でした。あ、使用人
As
た
for
ち
the
も
servants,
大部分に
I
暇を
let
出しま
most
した
go, but
が、
I made sure to keep
私と
two
兄さん
to
付きのも
attend
の
to
を
our
残し
personal
ましたので
needs.
問題はありません。
Akiha's kind of fucking bawling right now.
いや、問題ないってあり
Isn't
す
this
ぎ
a
るだろ。
huge problem?
そんな
Won't
勝手
they
をしまく
tear
っ
you
たら
apart at the next
次の
family
親戚
meeting
会
if
議
you
で
keep
やり
doing
玉に
whatever
あ
you
げられる
want?
ぞ。
もうつべこべ言わないでください。
Well, Psyche's not a family member. Psyche is he's outside of the family. He's a business partner, like he said. Oh, please.
兄さんだって屋
Isn't
敷
this
の中に
preferable to
人
the
が溢れ
alternative
返
of
って
having
い
the
るよ
mansion
り
crawling with
私
people?
たちしかいない方が気持ちは楽でしょ。
Didn't she say she kept two servants? When I forgot her name again. When T girl left, there was a second girl in the room who's still in the room and hasn't said anything. I go lurk, have fun, have good lurk, Gilgamesh. Yes, there are 3 people in this room right now. Kohaku, thank you. I don't know why I'm having such trouble remembering that. That was not supposed to be a... There's a dark Spirited Away joke in there somewhere. Anyway. Isn't this preferable to the alternative of having the mansion crawling with people? She's definitely right about that.
いや、でもだな。
Are you sure about this?
本当にそれでいいのか。親父だって親
Even
戚の
Dad
意見に
couldn't
は
go
逆らわ
against
な
them.
かったのに。
Will they
そ
really
んな
let you do as you
暴君
please?
みたいなわがままを通しちまって。
そうですね。
You're right.
だからお父様は
Father allowed
兄さん
himself to
を
be
有馬の
pressured
家
into
に
sending
預け
you
たんで
to
す。
the Arima family. But
けれ
I've
ど
despised
私
our relatives since I
子
was a
供の
child.
頃からあの人たち
I'll
が
not
大
allow
嫌いで
myself
し
to
た
be
から。
bullied by them.
これ以上どうでもいい彼らの小言を聞くのはごめんです。
ごめんですって。
But Akiha,
ああ、もう
come off it.
いいから
You don't
私
need
な
to
んかの
worry
心
about
配
me.
は結構です。そんなことより
Please
兄
focus
さ
on
ん
your
は
own
これからのご
situation.
自分の生活を
I
案
don't
じてくだ
imagine
さい。
this will be easy for you.
いろいろ大変なことになるって目に見えているんだから。
Remember to stay hydrated, Chet. Akiha says this curtly, forcing the conversation in another direction.
状況はご理解いただけたと
I
は思
believe
い
you
ますが
understand your current
兄
circumstances,
さん
but
は
it
ま
seems your
だ
manners
有馬
still
で
need
の暮ら
work.
しが抜けきれていない様子。ま、それもいい
Though
でし
I
ょ
suppose that's to be
う。そのため
expected.
の使用人です。
That is why I made arrangements.
この先
If there is ever
わから
anything
ない
you are
ことが
unsure
あったら
about, please ask
この
this
子
girl
に言い
here.
つけて。翡翠、
Hisui, And now... Akiha, without turning, calls the girl waiting at the back of the room. The girl named Hisui takes a step forward and gives a bow. It's a polite, though emotionless bow, like servitude made manifest.
この子は翡翠。うちの使用人です。
Hisui is one of our housemaids.
これから兄さん
She
付き
will
の
act
次
as
女
your
にしま
personal
すが
attendant. I presume this is acceptable. Just... She gets the laid back one, and we get the stone cold one. Checks out. Now there's some character dynamics for you. So she's another one of the housekeepers. Wait, what? My attendant?
つま
You
り
mean...
その
わかりやすく言うと、
Yes, to be
召使
plain,
いという
she
こ
is
と
your
です。
servant. Flash forwards to fate. The same character with just different hair, maybe. They certainly have the same look in their eyes. I don't believe it. Both Akiha and the girl look like nothing out of the ordinary has been said.
ちょっと待ってくれ。
Hold on just a second.
召
Isn't
使
this a
いと
bit
か
much?
大げさすぎない
I
か
can take care of myself.
自分のことぐらい自分で面倒を見れるっていうか。
食事の支度や洗濯
You'll be
も
making your own
ですか？
meals and doing your own laundry, then? Akiha's sure on point.
ともかく、こ
Regardless,
の屋敷に戻
now
っ
that
て
you
き
have
た以
returned to
上
the、mansion, you will
私の
obey
指示
my
には従っ
commands.
てもらいます。有馬の家ではど
I
う
do
暮ら
not
して
know
い
what
た
your
かは
life was
知りま
like with
せ
the
んが、
Arimas, but
これか
here
ら
you
の
are
兄
the
さんは
eldest son of the
遠
Tono
野家で
family.
暮らす遠野家の長男なんです。相応の
I
待遇は
expect you to begin
義務
acting
と
as
して受け
such.
入れてください。
My gaze wanders over to the girl clad in maid attire. Hisui shows little emotion on her face. She looks like a doll as she returns my gaze. Alice coded.
それじゃあ翡翠、
Now,
兄さんを
Hisui,
部屋に案内
please
してあ
escort
げ
my
て。
brother to his room.
この人は右も
This
左
boy
も
is
わか
nothing
ら
more
ない
than a
子
lost
猫と
kitten
変わ
that
らな
doesn't
い
know
よう
right
です
from
から。
left. We wouldn't want him losing his way in this big
い
mansion.
きなり迷子にならないようにね。
かしこまりました。
Of course, Mr.
Akiha-sama.
Sakiha. Hisui bows to Akiha and walks towards me quietly. She looks towards me, but her gaze is fixed in a way that ensures our eyes don't meet. Her steps are measured, but far from slow. I can tell she's done this for a long time.
あ、それと兄
Oh,
さん
and、Shiki, you
長
may
男
be
と
the
いえど、
eldest, but there are
この屋
places in
敷で
this
は
mansion
禁止
where
さ
you
れ
are
たこと
not
なら、
welcome.
立ち入ってはいけない場所があります。それを犯したりすることのないように。翡翠には兄さんのお守り
Hisui
も命
has
じて
also
あり
been
ます
ordered
か
to
ら、
protect you,
翡翠
so
の
please
進
be
言
sure
に
to
は
heed her
で
advice.
きる限り耳を傾けてください。
それ
Protect me?
おもりじゃなくて
Don't you mean
監
monitor
視
me?
役って言わないか。
兄さんが規則正しい生
I
活
will
をして
relieve
くだされ
Hisui
ば
of his duty.
Hisui もそんな
I will
役割
relieve
から
Hisui
解
of
放
this
されます。
duty if you prove to be capable of conducting yourself appropriately.
それではまた。
Until
夕食の
dinner
席で
then. Akiha must be busy if she can't spare any more time than this.
お部屋にご案内いたします。
I will show you to your room, Master Shiki. Hisui moves towards the door, paying my obvious confusion no mind. I sigh as I leave the office. I love Hisui, great Pokemon region. I knew if you didn't make the joke, I probably would have. We make our way back out to the second floor lobby. The lobby splits the Tono mansion into two wings. It's like a giant bird in flight, extending its wings far in both directions. Each wing is roughly the size of a small hospital. I vaguely recall that the building is symmetrical, with the same number of rooms on both sides.
四季様のお部屋はこちら
Your
で
room is
す。
this way, Master Shiki. Instead of descending the stairs, Hisui continues along the walkway, overlooking the lobby, towards the west wing. I guess that means my room is on the second floor of the west wing. The sun has already set outside. Blue carpets line the hallway, extending in either direction. The uniform white walls bring a castle to mind. The maid walks down the hall, lit by warm orange lights.
なんか
It's like something out of a fairy tale. No filter between brain and mouth here.
シキ様
Is there anything I can help you with, Master Shiki?
いや
No,
ただの
I
独
was
り言
just
だか
talking to
ら気に
myself.
しないでくれ
Don't worry about it. Hisui gives a slight bow after glancing at me, and continues walking again. I don't know what to say. And that's not the first time since returning to the mansion. Floors made with expensive teak wood. A ceiling that must be at least 3 meters high. I think I can see a sunroom further down the hall. The room Hisui shows me to isn't where you would expect a high schooler to live.
俺の部屋って
This room is
ここ
for me?
はい
Yes,
ご不満が
though
お
I
あ
can
りの
show
よう
you
でし
to
たら
another room if this
違
isn't
う
to
お
your
部屋をご
liking.
用意させていただきますが
いや不満なんてあ
No,
る
there's
わ
no
けないけ
problem
ど
with it at all. It's just
その
it's way too fancy for me.
シキ様
Master Shiki,
いいんだなんでもな
never
い
mind. It's nothing.
喜んでこの部屋を使
I'd
わ
be
せて
glad
も
to
らう
have
よ
this room.
はいお部屋は
Understood.
7年前から手を加えていません
Nothing
の
has
で
been changed since you stayed here, so I trust you will find it to your liking. Does that mean...
ちょっといいかな
Can I ask you a question?
ここ7年前は
this the
俺
room
の部
I
屋だっ
used
た
to
と
live in?
か
そう伺っておりますが
So I have heard.
違うのです
Am
か
I mistaken? Hisui tilts her head slightly. I feel a little better. So she isn't completely devoid of emotion.
うーん
Hmm.
ま
Now
あ
that you
言われて
mention
みれば
it, you're
確か
right.
に少しは覚えがある
It
し
does look
きっとそう
familiar
だったんだろ
somehow. This doesn't feel like my room at all, but I guess that's what happens when you've been gone for 7 years.
うけど
It's
やっ
just
ぱり落ち着かな
gonna
いな
take some adjusting.
今朝まで
This
4
morning,
畳
my
半の
room
部
was
屋で
barely
暮
big
らし
enough
て
for
た
a
から
bed
さ
and a desk.
高
Now
級
it's
ホ
a
テル
room
に
out of
泊
a
まりに来た
luxury
みたいだ
hotel.
お気持ちはわかりますが
I understand how you
どうか
feel,
お慣れ
but
ください
please try to grow accustomed to your station.
シキ様は
You are the
今日から
eldest
遠野家
son
の
of
ご
the
長
Tono
男なの
family
ですか
from
ら
today.
まあ
Yeah,
そうだね
I guess.
せめて
I'll do my
来
best
年ぐら
not
い
to
は
become a
笑わな
laughing
いように
stock,
頑
at
張って
least.
みるよ
I set my bag on the desk and stretch. I'm still a bit overwhelmed by everything, but I don't have much choice other than just get used to it. At the very least, I need to be comfortable enough to relax in my own space.
それと
Your belongings
昨夜のう
arrived
ちに
last
届い
night,
たお荷物
and I took the
は
liberty of bringing
す
them
べて
here.
運び込みましたが
Is everything accounted for?
問題はありませんか
いや別にないけど
As far as I can tell, yeah.
なんか持ち込んじゃいけ
Was
ない
there
もので
something I'm
もあ
not
った
allowed
と
to
か
have?
いえ
No,
お荷物が
there
少
was
な
just
すぎる
little
よ
to
うです
speak
か
of.
ら
I thought something might have been misplaced.
必要なものがあれば
Please let me know if
ご
there's
用意い
anything
た
you
しますので
require, as I would be
どうか
happy
お
to
聞かせ
procure
く
it
ださい
for you.
そっか
Gotcha.
いやとりあえず
I think I'm
足りない
okay
も
for
の
now.
はないよもともと荷物は少
I
ない
don't
んだ
have much stuff in the first place.
自分の荷物って言った
All I
ら
really need is that
その
bag,
カバ
my
ンとこ
glasses,
の
and
メガネと
the only things in my bag are my textbooks and a white ribbon I've kept for a long time.
ともかく荷物のことは気に
Anyways,
しないでい
you
い
don't need to worry about my stuff.
こんな立派な部屋だけで
This
十
room
分
by
だ
itself is more than enough for me.
かしこまりました
Understood.
では
I will
1
call
時
you.
間後に
I
お
will
呼
call
び
for
に
you
参り
in
ま
1
す
hour then.
1時間後って
In an hour?
もしかして夕食
For dinner, you mean?
はいそ
Yes.
れまで
Please feel
どうぞ
free
くつ
to
ろぎく
relax
ださい
until then. Hisui says, devoid of emotions, as seems to be her usual. But now my problem is how to kill an hour. It's just past 6. If it were yesterday, I would just play with my phone or watch some TV in the living room. But I can't see the mansion having a place for people to get together and wind down. 2.
翡翠、つまらないことを聞くけどさ、
Hisui, can I ask you a stupid question?
この屋敷にテレビとか通
Does the
信
mansion
回
have
線とか
internet
ある
or
の？
TV? Does the mansion have internet or a TV?
テレビと通
Internet
信
or a
回線
TV?
ですか？
Hisui narrows her eyes ever so slightly. Even asking the question gives me a headache. Asking about modern luxuries in a decadent old-fashioned mansion. What did I just say? Asking about modern luxuries in a decadent old-fashioned mansion like this seems wrong.
今にはありません。
I don't believe either are available in the parlor.
こちら
There
は
is a
鍵がかけられ
recreation
て
room
い
in
ま
the
す。
West Wing, but it is currently locked.
先日まで投
Our
入さ
guests
れていた
left
皆様
our
は
guests that left
私
us
物を持ち
recently
込ま
had
れていま
items for
した。
personal use, but they were asked
出
to
立
take
さ
their
れる
things
時に
with
荷
them.
物はお持ち帰りいただきましたので、残ってはいないと思います。
アキハが追い出した親戚筋か。
Do you mean the relatives Akiha chased out?
登竜って
Actually,
誰
who
が
was
どのく
here?
らいしてたん
And
だ？
how long did they stay?
久我峰様のご長男と
The eldest
そのご家族の
Kugamine and
皆
his
様
family stayed in the third room of the West Wing's
一階に
first floor.
東崎様のご三
The
女と
third
その
daughter
婚
of the
約者の方
Tozaki
が
family and her
二階に
fiance
士官
stayed
の
in the
角部
corner
屋を
room of the West Wing's second floor.
木島様のご長男が
The eldest son of the
一階東
Kishima
館の一部
family
屋
stayed in the first room of the East Wing's floor.
皆様
They all stayed
3
with us
年ほ
for
どお過
3
ごしになら
years.
れました。あとは
Lastly,
確か
I was told that Master
先代であ
Makiha's
る
personal
マキヒサ様の
physician
主治医
was
様
also
が
staying in
屋
the
敷に
mansion.
投留されていたと聞いています。
3年もか。
3 whole years.
なあ翡
It
翠、
sounds more like
そう
freeloading
いう
than
のっ
being
て
a guest,
登
don't you
竜っ
think?
て言うんじゃなくて居候って言うんじゃないか？
Hisui doesn't answer. Her position as a housemaid must prevent her from voicing her personal opinions about the guests. Regardless, if they've taken all of their belongings with them, I can't expect to find anything I can use. Makihisa hated any kind of modern convenience, so I can't imagine he would have allowed them to access to the internet or TV. Akiha must have taken after our father.
ま、
Well,
ないからって
not like I'll
別
die
に死ぬわ
without
けで
them
も
or
ないか。
anything. If nothing else, I still have my phone. I take it out of my pocket and check the time. It's silly to think I was actually worried I might not get service here. It may not be much, but I'm relieved to have at least some way of connecting to the internet. I'd expected to be stuck without one, considering how out of this world this place is. Meanwhile, Hisui's silent. I don't know if it's just her trying to be professional, but Hisui doesn't speak unless it's necessary or she's asked something. Not being used to having a personal attendant, it's a little unnerving. I'd like to try and make her smile somehow, but it's not going to be easy.
確か1階の
I
西館の
think I
方に書
remember a
庫があったっ
library
け？
on the first floor of the West Wing.
暇な時はそこから
I'll have
何
to
か
make
見
use
つ
of
か
it
るこ
when I
とに
find
する
some
よ。
time. Hisui doesn't respond. She's looking in my direction, but her eyes are fixed on the empty space next to me, rather like a cat.
翡翠？
Hisui? Hisui says nothing. Until she suddenly returns her gaze to me.
姉さんの部屋になら
I believe my
あると
sister
思い
may
ます。
have one in her room.
は？
Huh? I blurred out without meaning to. Could she mean
ですから
a
テレビで
television?
す。以前
I believe I saw one in
姉さんの
my
部屋
sister's
で
room once.
見かけた記憶がありますから。
Hisui says like she's recalling a memory from long ago.
よかった。
That's a
ここで
relief
も
to
それぐら
hear.
いはあるんだ。
I guess not even the mansion is safe from
ちょ
modernization.
っと待って。
Actually, hold on a second.
姉さんってもしか
Sister?
して琥
Do
珀
you
さん
mean
のこと？
Kohaku?
はい、
Yes.
現在
My sister and I are the only
こ
ones
のお屋
working
敷
here
で
in the
働か
mansion.
せていただいているものは私と姉さんの二人きりです。
They're twins. Now that I think about it, they do look a lot alike. Just now, you noticed. Hisui is so different from her cheery sister, I didn't even consider that they might be related.
そっか。
Huh.
あの人なら
She
確か
does
に
seem like
バラ
she'd
エテ
be
ィ
into
番組を
comedies.
見てそうなキャラクターだ。
I stopped short of asking to use it, as I feel too embarrassed to go into her room.
ごめん。この
Sorry,
話はなかったこ
just
とにして
forget
く
I
れ。
ever brought it up.
これからここで暮
I
らす
need
ん
to
だか
follow
ら
the rules if I'm gonna be
屋敷
living
の
here,
ルールに
right?
は従わなくっちゃいけないしね。
I don't think Akiha would ever let me live it down if I spent my first night back lounging in front of the TV. I'll act like the perfect little student. Someone worthy of the Tono name.
夕食まで部屋にい
I'll
るか
stay in
ら
my room until
時間
dinner.
になったら呼びに来てく
Would
れ。
you call me when it's time?
翡翠だって他にやる
I'm
こと
sure
は
you
あ
have
るだろ
other things you need to do. Hisui nods affirmatively and puts her hand down the doorknob. The door opens with a faint squeak. Hisui leaves the room after a small bow. I hope we're coming up to the end of a chapter because we still haven't saved, nor have we had the option to do so. I dine with Akiha. Both Kohaku and Hisui are completely devoted to serving the two of us. Servants aren't allowed to dine at the same table as their masters. It goes without saying, but having grown up with the Animas, this setup makes me uncomfortable. I've also completely forgotten about table manners. Humans have evolved the ability to remove useless pieces of information from their minds, which means any memories I had of table etiquette are long gone. Every movement I make elicits a raised eyebrow from Akiha. It's nerve-wracking, but it does spice up our mealtime. To be honest, the idea that I'll be doing this every day from now on is disheartening. Dinner ends in silence. I was so desperate to remember my table manners, I wasn't even able to come up with any small talk. Akiha seemed displeased the entire time. Hisui and Kohaku have just finished taking away our plates when the reckoning comes.
やはり
It seems a thorough re-education is in order after all, she says plainly. The cold, cruel comment reverberates around the dining room.
誰に
For who? And what kind?
兄さんに
You.
ふ
To
さわ
enforce
しい
proper
心構
behavior,
え
of
を
course.
です。
I knew it. So that's what she was thinking about while raising her eyebrows at me.
その
So
具体的に
what does that mean?
まずは生活習慣の
First, we
改
will be
善。
implementing some
夜間
lifestyle
の外
changes.
出は当然
Your
禁止で
curfew
す
will。be 8 p.m.
門限は
and
8
there
時
will
と
be
しま
no
す。
going outside at night.
どのような理由であれ、
You will obtain
外出
permission
の
from
時
me,
は
Kohaku,
私か
or
琥
Hisui
珀、
before leaving
翡
the
翠の
mansion
許可
for
を取る
any
ように。
reason.
は
Huh? An 8 p.m. curfew? How old does she think I am? More importantly, I need permission just to leave?
待て待てそれ
Wait,
は
wait, back up.
休日の学習
I will
スケジ
draft a
ュ
study
ールはこ
regimen
ちら
for
で
your
立てておきま
weekends.
す。報告によると、
According to the reports I've
兄さんの
received,
成
your
績
grades
は
are as average
中
as
の
average
中だ
can
そうで
be.
すね。まったく、
I swear the only thing you're
相
good
変わ
at
ら
is
ず
slacking
効
off.
率よく手を抜くのだけは得意なようで。
とんでもない
Rude.
俺はい
Give
つだって
everything my
全
all.
力だ
ですが、この屋敷に
As
いる
long as you
間
reside
は
in this
本気
mansion,
を
you
出
will
してい
take
ただきま
things
すから
seriously.
そのつもりで。兄さんはやれば
You are
できる人
capable
なんですから、
regardless of your
お
condition.
体のことを考慮
I'm
し
sure
て
you
も
will have no issue
学年
reaching
3位以
into
内
the
は
top
当然で
3
しょ
of。your class. My sister is painfully overestimating me. And it's scary how much she knows about my grades.
他の習い事は
Let
もう
us
少し
continue
落
these
ち着い
lessons
てから
once you are
にし
more
ましょう
settled in.
それでは兄さん、
Now then,
本題の
please take it out, Shiki.
あれを出してください。
はい
What? What does she mean by it?
あれといえばあれです。
What else could I be referring to?
あるでしょう。
The
兄さんの
degenerate
ズボン
thing
に
young
も
people keep
若
hidden in
者
their
の象徴
pants.
のような汚らわしいあれが。
She's talking about his phone. She's talking about his phone. She's talking about his cell phone. She is talking about her brother's cell phone. His cell phone.
それを隠さずに出しなさいと言っているのです。
I'm telling you to take it out already.
いや、ますますわからない。
What the hell are you saying?
これが上流階級の
Is
す
this
るこ
really
と
what the upper
か。
class is
一
about?
般市
You
民
think
を
you
何
can
だ
do
と思
whatever
って
you
るんだ
want to us
お前は。
normal folks? Phantom, thank you so much for the gift subs. That's very kind of you. Fucking sure, bud. Don't. Don't. What?
ですから、
I'm telling you to show me
携
your
帯
mobile
端末を
device.
出してください。
I told you. I fucking told you, Chet. You were trying to make it weird.
兄さんだって持っているん
You
でしょ
have one, don't you?
なるほど。
Fine. I take out my phone from my back pocket. Show of hands in chat, who puts their phone in their back pocket? I don't. I put it in my front pocket. I have, in the past, put it in my back pocket, depending on what kind of pants I'm wearing. But... well, that's because girl pants don't have real pockets. Front left, I'm a front right. Oh, but you're left-handed, so that makes sense. Hmm. I take out my phone from my back pocket. As soon as I place it on the table, Hisui wordlessly takes the phone and gives it to Akiha.
これは没収します。
I will be
当家で
confiscating
はこの
this.
手の電子
A
機器は
growing
禁
young
止で
student like
す。
yourself has no use for
健
it.
全な電話ならロビーの備え付けのものを使うように。
You may use the phone in the lobby
調
if you
べ
need to
物がしたい
contact
ので
someone.
したら、
If you wish
図書
to
室を
research
どうぞ。
something, you are welcome to use the library. Akiha cuts our one-sided conversation short and leaves the dining room. I find myself stunned into silence for the nth time today. I was never super attached to my phone. I mostly used it for texting and to check the news when I had some free time, though like most people I consider it a basic necessity. It's another reminder of how strict the Tono household really is. I mean, banning phones in this day and age. I return to my room now that dinner is finished. It's just past 9:30 p.m. I spent about 2 hours in the dining room in the end.
お帰りなさいませ。
Welcome
四季
back,
様。
Master Shiki. I took the
ご指
liberty
示
of
はありま
preparing
せん
your
でした
bed.
が、就寝の支度をさせていただきました。
Hisui greets me as soon as I enter my bedroom. I see my bed waiting for me, neatly made. She was a step ahead of me, it seems.
うん
Oh,
ありがとう
thank you.
寝巻きはそちらのものをお
I've
使
prepared
いくだ
pajamas
さい。
as well, so please change into them at your leisure.
着ていらしたお洋服は
Any
そ
clothing
ち
you've
らの
worn
カ
for
ゴ
the day
に
can
入
be placed in the basket over
れ、廊
there.
下に出しておいてくだされば
If you
助
could
か
leave
り
it
ま
out in the
す。
hall when you are finished, that would be most appreciated. A wicker basket is placed at the foot of the bed. I assume if I put my dirty clothes in here, or place it in the hallway, then Hisui will clean them for me. This is starting to feel even more like some upscale hotel.
何かご質問はございますか？
Do you have any questions? Hisui stands there as still as a statue. I have plenty of questions, but it dawns on me that I know very little about Hisui or Kohaku.
あまり関係ない話
Can
なん
I
だ
ask
け
you
ど
something
いいかい
completely off topic?
はい。何で
Of
しょう？
course. What is it?
翡翠と琥珀さんが
I'd
こ
like
こ
to
で
know
ど
more
んな
about
仕
the
事を
work
し
you
てる
and
のか知
Kohaku
り
do
たいん
here,
だけど
if you don't mind.
どうかな？
You and I find out out the sister is worst girl instead of best girl like she should be. Wait a minute, what do you mean by that? Wait a minute. The key word in that statement is sister.
私が式様付きで、姉の琥珀は
My
秋葉お
sister
嬢
is
様
assigned
に
to
お
take
世話を
care
さ
of
せてい
Mr.
ただいており
Tsukihime
ます。
while I will be
お
attending
二
to
人
your
が留
needs,
守の
Master
間は
Shiki.
屋敷の管理を
We
任
make
さ
sure
れてい
everything in the
ます
mansion is in order while you
そ
two
れ
are
が
away.
何か
Is there anything else?
お世話って
Attending to
や
my
っぱり
needs.
そういうことか。
So it is like that. Hello? This is so strange why this keeps happening. My shoulders feel heavy. Akiha explained everything like it went without saying, but I'm just a normal high school student. I don't have much interest in being waited on hand and foot by a girl my own age.
式様付きってことは
Does that mean you're my
俺
personal
専用の
housekeeper?
使用人ってこと？
はい、
Yes.
何なりと申し付け
Please
て
don't
ください。
hesitate to call on me if there's anything you require. Hisui bows deeply. My chest tightens with guilt.
わかった。
Understood.
秋葉のあの言いぶりじ
Based
ゃ
on what
あれを
Akiha
一人
said,
には
I'm
しない
sure
だ
she
ろうし
doesn't want you to leave me alone.
そもそも俺の気
But
持
I
ちの
can't
問
just
題で
ask you to
君を
stop,
解雇させ
so
るの
I'll
は
accept
よ
your
くは
help.
ないと思う。
But
ありがたくお世話になるけど。
何か特別なご要望
do
で
you
もあ
have
る
a
のです
special
か？
request of some kind?
そんな大それたこと
It's
じゃな
nothing
くて
big, really. I just
その
can't get into being called
式様っ
master.
ていうのはちょっと
Speak for yourself, kid.
俺はそんな柄じゃないし正
I'm no
直
one
に
special.
白状すると
And if I'm
不
being
相応す
honest,
ぎ
it
て
makes me feel so out of place. It's like someone's got me by the collar.
ですが、
But
式
you
様
are
は
my
私
master,
の主
Master
人で
Shiki.
す。
そうは言うけど
You say that,
俺は
but
今日まで
I was
普
just
通
a
に生
normal
きてきた
person
身なんだ
until today.
帰ってきただけな
Being
のに
called master
同
by
い
a
年
girl
ぐら
my
いの子に
age for
様
coming
付け
back
で呼ばれ
home
る生活とか
is a little much
ちょ
for
っと
me.
難しい
Hisui seems nonplussed.
俺のことは遠
You
野
can
さん
just
と
call
か
me
四
Shiki.
季さんでい
No
い
need
よ
for that formal stuff.
堅苦しいのはなしにしたいんだこっちも君を
And
翡
I'll
翠さん
call
って
you
呼ぶからさ
Hisui, though otherwise expressionless, lowers her eyebrows and bites her lip. Man, I wanted to make things easier for her, but it looks like I may have had the opposite effect.
ですが、あ
But
な
you
た
are
は
my
私の
master.
雇い主ですから。
俺が雇ってるわけじゃ
I'm
ない
not
だ
the
ろ
one hiring you, right?
失礼ながら、
Excuse
それ
my
は同じ
frankness,
ことで
but the
す。
circumstances
四季様。
remain the same.
私どもは遠
I
野
am
家に仕
employed by
え
the
る
Tono
者。
family. Whether I am
ご当主
assigned to
様
the
の
head
ご
of the
親族の
family
方
or
も
another member, that does
共
not
に
change
尊
how
ぶ
I
べき
must
主
address
で
you.
あることに変わりはありません。ですので、
I ask that you
どうか
consider me
私
your
のこと
humble
は
servant.
お使いする方に継
To
承で
do
呼ばれる
otherwise
使用
would be
人
to
の身長
disregard my
を
place in this
さ
manner.
せていただければ幸いで
Please
す。
understand.
うん
Hard to argue against that. Her answer really does fit that of a manor servant.
はあ
Oh well.
俺にできないことを
I
や
should
っ
be
て
the
くれる
one
んだか
thanking you
ら
for everything you
あり
do.
がたがるのはこっちなんだけど
Arguing would only serve to trouble her further. I'll refrain from voicing my own opinions on that matter for now.
呼び方
So I'll call you
Hisui
Hisui then.
はい、
Yes,
何と
please.
してもそのように。
Her please has a bit of punch to it.
わかったじゃあそのように
Okay, I'll make sure to do that.
でも
But I'd
俺に対
appreciate
し
it
てあ
if
んま
you
り堅
avoided
苦
being
しい
too
のは
formal
なし
with
に
me.
してほしい
If you
お
could
姉さ
tell
んの小春さんに
Kohaku
も
about that as
そう
well,
伝え
it
て
would
く
be
れると
great.
ありがたい
はい、
Of
四季
course.
様がそうおっしゃるなら
Whatever you say, Master Shiki. Hisui lowers her head gracefully. Alright. Looks like we've got a long ways to go until we can talk casually. Hisui leaves the room after bowing. The moment I'm alone, a wave of exhaustion crashes over me. A lot happened today. My body is crying out for some much-needed rest. I turn out the light and lie on the bed. I can tell I'll sleep like a rock. I try to fight against the sleep creeping in. I'm somehow able to keep my eyes open, but it's a losing battle. No matter how hard I fight, I fall deeper. That's just how the human body's built. I stare at the ceiling, still in the space between consciousness and sleep. Back after 7 years. Seeing family again. It still feels like someone else's house.
でも
But you're home now.
帰ってきたんだろお前は。
I say, trying to accept everything. Yo, we actually died. You got it. You got the thing. My consciousness slips away as I sink into a deep slumber. A mansion on a high hill, far away from the bustling of the town. Like an island surrounded by a sea of trees. I come to the conclusion the instant my eyes close. It's like a prison. Yeah, bro. Wearing your glasses to bed. Insane. You will totally break them. Oh. I awake suddenly. I don't know if you can exactly tell on the capture, but like this is some low light shit. Nobody woke me up, nor did I hear a sound. It just happened, seemingly for no reason. I wonder how long it's been since I woke up in the middle of the night. Oh. Sorry, I just wanted to test. Well, first of all, let me ensure that we have a save file. Flowchart? Whoa. Okay. I get up, feeling like I've forgotten something. A shiver of unease creeps over me as I exit my room. I start down the hallway in search of a glass of water to slake my thirst. The long, moonlit hallway lies before me. The night is totally silent. This all feels so familiar. I must have done exactly this when I was younger. I find myself wandering to the stairs, aimlessly, yet not. There, a hidden section of the mansion. The stairs connect not only the first and second floors, but also to an attic by way of a secret passage. It seems even the people living here have long forgotten this place. The room, once used for storage, shows no trace of anyone having used it in years. Despite being midway through October, it's unseasonably cold tonight. I rummage through the room, hoping to find a blanket. An old cabinet catches my eye. I open each drawer. I find some odds and ends, but little of note. There's nothing worthwhile in the drawers. Even the giant chest I open has only a few scattered stones inside. A badge, a few trinkets, a pair of binoculars. All things a child might collect. Among them, a single thing stands out, different from everything else. Stained bandages, sealed in a clear plastic case. They're rolled up neatly, but so old they could never be used. There's nothing here. I shut the drawer and start back to my room. The Legos under the bandages. Upon exiting the room, I realize my cheeks are wet. I wonder, could I have used this place when I was a child? Do you want to save your progress? I do believe that she'll bring us to the end of the first chapter. And indeed, I was correct. So, let us quickly return. We turn off the game. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for joining me for another exciting episode and the triumphant return of Mythos Mondays. Now, we've gone just a little bit longer than I expected to. We are going to go ahead and raid out to... Let me just double check and make sure I get his username right. Because we refer to him by his nickname. It's Zodi. Zodiac _70. He's playing some Elden Ring DLC. He is going in blind. He has not seen anything. Please do not post spoilers in his chat. But Zodi's a very cool guy. I mean, half of you guys are Pyro Pups, you know who Zodi is. But yeah, he's, if you're excited for some Elden Ring content, I was watching him a little bit before starting my own stream tonight, and he's marathoning the DLC. So wish him luck, because y'all watched me go through it. He's gonna need as much help as he can get, so... remember to raid Leaf. Use your follower emotes. When does the fighting game part start? What? Huh? What do you mean by that? I don't know, maybe eventually. Anyway, thank you guys again for joining me. Come back tomorrow for the Fate Grand Order Servant tier list. That's what we're doing tomorrow. It'll be a cool, fun hangout session. Well, I'll see you then. Take care, have fun, and thank you guys for joining me. I'm gonna go get some food, and then